What's going on, everybody? John out here with you. It is Saturday, October 29, 2022. I'm going to be joined by Cooper Hopkins momentarily. We're going to do the Battle of Alberta again. It was a lot of fun, so why not do it again? Let's give you the starting lineups here for tonight, and then I will pause the recording, and then we'll get into the whole recording itself. So Connor McDavid, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and Zach Hyman will be on the first line wings for Jay Woodcroft's squad. Darnell Nurse and Cody Ceci will handle defensive duties. It's Leon Draisaitl with Evander Kane and Kalluri Yamamoto, then Brett Kulak and Evan Bouchard. Ryan McLeod, Warren Fogle, and Jesse Puljujärvi will join Marcus Niemelainen and Tyson Barrie. The fourth line is Derek Ryan, Dylan Holloway, and Devin Shore. And Stuart Skinner will be in goal for the Edmonton Oilers. And for the Calgary Flames, it sounds like this. Elias Lindholm, Jonathan Huberdeau, and Tyler Toffoli with Mackenzie Weegar and Christopher Tanev. So that line remains the same there for Daryl Sutter's squad. Nazem Kadri, Dylan Dubé, and Andrew Mangiapane with Noah Hannafin and Rasmus Anderson. Michael Backlund, Blake Coleman, Trevor Lewis with Nikita Zadorov and Michael Stone. And Kevin Rooney, Milan Lucic, and Brett Ritchie will be on the fourth line with Jacob Markstrom in net. Calgary has been off since Tuesday when they last defeated the Pittsburgh Penguins. I covered that game with you. It was a big win for the Flames. And then the Edmonton Oilers, they won off the back-to-back in between the St. Louis Blues and the Chicago Blackhawks. Connor McDavid is fresh off a hat trick and an assist. So plenty of points to go around for Edmonton as now that they're 5-3 with the back-to-back wins. How about Connor McDavid, 8 goals, 7 assists, 15 points. Leon Draisaitl doing the same damn thing like he usually does. 4 goals, 11 assists, and 15 points. So I'm going to get Cooper Hopkins in here right now. We'll be set to go, and we're going to split off play-by-play and color duties like we did. So for the Edmonton Oilers, just to throw this out there really quickly, Stuart Skinner, the 23-year-old, is going to get a start, 1-1 on the season with a 1.44 goals against, a 957 save percentage. For his record in totality, he's 8-7 with a 256 and 918, so he's bumped those numbers way up. And Jacob Markstrom, 4-0 on the season with a 250 goals against and a 907 save percentage. His struggles against Edmonton have been noted. His goals against is ranging at 5, and over in the playoffs, it's over 5 in the 5-game loss in the playoffs last year. So we'll see what ends up changing with that. Cooper, welcome.
Thank you so much, John. As always, fantastic to be alongside you for this Battle of Alberta. Not our first rodeo. No cowboy or cowgirl pun intended there, but it's hard not to think of that arena of life when we're talking about the Calgary Flames and the Edmonton Oilers. And I love that you brought up Jacob Markstrom's performance. That's something we will certainly keep an eye on throughout the evening tonight. John, you and I have done a couple of games so far in this NHL season, and Markstrom was somebody that we made note of very frequently with good reason, and not always in a positive way.
Right.
He struggled a little bit, especially in those first periods, even in just the first handful of minutes opening games for the Flames, but he really seemed to settle in. Do you agree?
I do. I mean, you look at the Pittsburgh game, I ended up covering that one, so Markstrom was pretty excellent in that one. He made 32 out of 33 saves and settled in quite nicely.
Yeah, absolutely. And, we have to take a note of, or make a note, I should say, of Edmonton's last game, which was a 6-5 victory over the Blackhawks. Now, Chicago, not world beaters this year, but it was a barn burner for sure. 11 total goals scored, and Edmonton, of course, getting the better of their rival in Chicago. And I'm interested to see if the Flames can really step down on the throats of Edmonton early on the blue line, because with the likes of McDavid and Draisaitl, who of course will be at the top of mind all night tonight, you have to be very careful, and Markstrom's going to need to start on time, is a phrase that we've used before. He will certainly need to start on time tonight along with his defenders.
And I know, like you said, it is the Blackhawks, and again, we know where they may or may not finish in the standings, although early they've played well of late considering. McDavid is coming fresh off a hat trick and a 4-point performance. So hopefully that doesn't breed confidence in for the matchup against Calgary tonight for those fans.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I think when we're talking about confidence, I'll use your setup. Whether or not you knew you were teeing me up for this one, it's given me an opportunity to talk about one of the new stars on the Calgary Flames, Jonathan Huberdeau, who finally tallied his first goal for the Flames in the middle stanza of their last game. So he's got 1 goal and 4 assists on the season so far, but he's being paced by Nazem Kadri. Nazem Kadri with 9 points on the year, 4 goals and 5 assists. And Mackenzie Weegar, the other notable pickup for the Flames and Brad Treliving's offseason. Mackenzie's been up and down, I would say, on the blue line. He started pretty hot and has, I don't want to say cooled a bit, because he definitely is contributing. He's not been on the score sheet as frequently as some might have expected, but he does have 3 assists on the year, so he will be someone I am watching tonight as well.
And tell us again, in all honesty, Cooper, I know where you stand with this, but just for the broadcast purposes, did you expect this sudden outburst for Nazem Kadri so early to start the year, that he would be this good, just like he was on the Avalanche last year?
I think Nazem's ability to fit in as well as he has so far with the Flames is probably the number one story of the season so far for Calgary. I think the off-season stories are now in the rear view. Johnny Gaudreau made his choice, and he is in Columbus. Matthew Tkachuk actually had a fantastic night tonight in a victory over his brother and the Ottawa Senators in Florida tonight. It was a 3-point night for Matthew Tkachuk, 1 goal scored by his younger brother. But when it comes to Nazem Kadri in Calgary, he really has jumped right in. He is in full stride in this early portion of the season. And not just because he's scoring so frequently and assisting as well, you can see it in the chemistry on that second line. He is the pivot there. He has 2 of the Flames' best players to his left and right, which are Dylan Dubé and Andrew Mangiapane, respectively. And the way he is leading that line and commanding attention from opponents on the power play in particular have Calgary fans and myself really thrilled with what we've seen so far.
So now it's just up for Calgary to tone into that, because they've been off since Tuesday, and Edmonton's been busy. We covered the Blues game a little bit. I got a chance to look at Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, and you would figure, Cooper, if you hold both of those players to just a single assist, that you'd have a chance to win. But they were able to come through late, Edmonton, and then, like you said, win against the Blackhawks. So it's been a few days off here for Calgary, but they still return back on the Settle Dome as we welcome Edmonton Oilers and Calgary Flames. It's the Battle of Alberta again, and every time, Cooper, we do one of these, it's always fun.
Yeah, it certainly is, John. I'm excited for it, and I will do my best. As you know, I always like to point out, of course, lifelong fan of the Flames, but always try to walk the line as best I can of neutrality. And I'll be excited to see both the play and the skill on offer from the Flames tonight, but the Oilers as well. They have so much exciting talent. And I'm curious to see what they're going to bring this evening.
So the only questions, I guess, that are on our minds, since from doing the playoff series together from last season, and I don't want to say last year because it's not quite last year just yet, because it makes it sound like we've been doing this for a long time, although we've covered a lot of games. Are we going to see a 9-6? Are we going to see the heavy goal totals that we saw in the playoffs, or do you think we get something a little bit more subdued tonight?
You know, I'm interested to see if we get a game similar to the one that the Flames played against the Carolina Hurricanes. That was a game in which, and this was what we were just speaking about a couple of minutes ago, John, with Jacob Markstrom.
Yes.
That was a game which is, I think, the prime example of him having a little bit of a shaky start. And the Hurricanes go up 2-0. The Flames able to battle back and ultimately score 3 unanswered goals in that game and win it in overtime. And I'm curious if we see something along those lines. Perhaps maybe 1 or 2 more goals, maybe a 4-3 game. But, anytime that the Oilers and the Flames meet, you're going to get some goals in the back of the net, and you're probably going to get some free hockey, as I like to say. You're going to get a little an extra 5-minute 3-on-3. That's my prediction, and we'll see how it turns out as the night goes on.
See, what makes this so interesting here, Cooper, is these teams just really met last week, and we get to do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is a really fantastic early test. And even though there have been a number of days in between, especially for the Flames, and I'm glad you pointed out, John, a really unique scheduling pattern for the Flames here. Normally, for most NHL teams, you're not going to see a series of unbroken off days. The Flames have had, I believe it was 4 off days. And, of course, they practiced, and it was made aware by the media that the Flames were working extra hard on the ice with multiple players, forwards, defensemen, and goaltenders working in extra sessions after the official practices ended. Daryl Sutter had his players almost like, I'm thinking of midget AAA player, Pee Wee players skating lines back and forth. To see NHL players doing that during the season is rare, but that's what they needed to do, and hopefully the Flames will still look sharp tonight.
Do you want me to take the first half of it again and you close it?
Let's do it, John. You got it. Let's kick this thing off, and we're about to get underway in the Battle of Alberta.
So Michael Backlund and Leon Draisaitl get set to do battle at the center dot, and we are underway here for the Battle of Alberta again. So it's right to left across the timeline here for the Calgary Flames. It'll be left to right for the Oilers, and it's immediately iced. So we will do this again. 19:51 left to go in the contest. As you get a chance to look at Daryl Sutter, you get a chance to see Jay Woodcroft. I think all eyes and ears will be on this contest. And again, if you hear any unabated shouting from downstairs, never mind, that's just the Michigan and Michigan State football game, so I can't control everybody else here. So back underneath the action now, as this goes down the ice again. Try to get picked up now by Evan Bouchard. Backlund will intercept, try to play this ahead to Lindholm, but this gets picked off by the Edmonton Oilers. Dump inside, try to find Jesse Puljujärvi, and now this is going to be an ice. So Cooper, in the sense of everything that you're seeing right now, a pair of early icing, a little bit of nerves here just to start, but you would expect that between these two teams because the burners can be applied at any moment.
Yeah, I agree. And one player I want to mention is the man who took the opening faceoff for the Flames, Michael Backlund. He's played 56 games against the Oilers, has 42 points in that career stretch. So keep an eye on number 11 tonight for Calgary.
And anytime Cooper tells me to do that, he usually is right on the money and hitting the bullseye on that side. So Christopher Tanev now will pick this up in his own end as Elias Lindholm plays this across. Going to skate down here and picked up now by Skinner. So now it's Stuart Skinner's second time playing in this because he would have had to be relieved there as Jack Campbell gave up 5 goals in the previous meeting when Calgary was able to jump all over them and win the first contest of the regular season. So now Stuart Skinner is going to get the main start here. Dylan Dubé now back in between Edmonton as they're going to play crisscross here with Cody Ceci and Darnell Nurse. Ceci will dump the center on the kick plate now as it's going to go just by Rasmus Anderson and then go back to him now with Noah Hannafin. The second line defense is out there with Daryl Sutter's squad. Now here's Dylan Dubé racing there an open left wing. He's going to shoot it high. It's going to go out of play. 18:35 left to go in the first.
Yeah, John, an interesting start here. You can see both teams trying to build something, especially through the neutral zone, and trying to really get through the center of the ice as quickly as possible and get set up in the offensive zone. But little struggle so far, but it's early here, and we've had multiple stoppages. Let's see who can settle in first and potentially get the first shot on goal.
So Nazem Kadri loses a rare offensive draw and then picks it back up, but here comes Kailer Yamamoto. Yamamoto will get this back. He's going to be toward an open right wing, but he gets canceled off by Noah Hannafin. And behind the net now is Leon Draisaitl trying to get worked over there by Mangiapane. Draisaitl will hold. He's still holding off the backhand in the high slot now, and Calgary does a good job to just take him through the neutral zone, so Draisaitl will have to step back up here. Picked up by Evander Kane, and then have to go all the way back again because the Oilers were offsides. 18 minutes left to go here in the first period as we're just underway. Drawn out here with play-by-play with Cooper Hopkins on color. We're going to be switching off halfway through this contest. Long dumping gets played there by Jacob Markstrom. Milan Lucic, watch the pass go by, and it gets dumped into Calgary, and Markstrom will come out of the goal crease, play this one to the defensive partner, and almost gets turned over. Lucic has to get it out with a little bit of urgency there as Brevechi holds off the backhand now near the neutral zone red line. All of a sudden, all the fourth line players are coming together with Shore and Holloway as this goes all the way down the ice where Skinner will go ahead and play this one. Cooper, I will tell you, this feels a little odd here early that I'm already not calling a goal. I'm not going to lie to you. 17:20 in. As this is picked up now by the Edmonton Oilers. They try to play this in their own end. Evan Bouchard will cancel it back and still hold. He's going to leave for Ryan McLeod now. McLeod will take their time. Edmonton's taking their time, and so is Calgary right now. This is just a little bit of an auspicious start that we're not used to. It's not goals, goals, goals right now. Tanev, it was a dangerous pass there from Markstrom, and it was turned over. See if Edmonton can get an opportunity out of this, but good back check by Calgary to break that one up and clear this one down the zone, where this goes to Trevor Lewis. Trevor Lewis now trying to do battle into the left side red line, and this is intercepted and picked up by Edmonton in their own end. Long outlet pass, and then cleared down the zone again of Calgary. So we're seeing a lot of this right now. These teams are not taking their chances to run their offense. They're getting their changes, trying to not be caught off guard. Noah Hannafin, Huberdeau got knocked off the puck, and somehow that was still on sides as we're still underway now. And Calgary missed that pass toward the left side D line, and now here comes Edmonton on a 2-on-3. McDavid's going to lay this one for Hyman. Big save there by Markstrom, right off the top of the jersey, as he's trying to get picked up by Connor, and then picked up now by Tyler Toffoli. But he's trying to keep this in across the blue line, get this away. Does Edmonton in their own end as Connor McDavid will peel all the way back. Clever drop pass there, but Calgary almost read it off as Huberdeau goes to pick this up now, and it gets iced by Edmonton.
Yeah, John, a couple of notable plays there during that last sequence. First of all, just the hockey sense, the awareness by Jonathan Huberdeau, who was knocked down to the ice, as you aptly mentioned, but he was able to stick his right skate out and keep it on the blue line as his teammate crossed into the O-zone and keep the play onside. So that's just the mental game that is there for Jonathan Huberdeau. And then, of course, you see the skill, just a simple play for Connor McDavid dropping off, letting his teammate fire through a screen. And keep an eye out for 97, as we always have to tonight.
So McDavid and Kadri on the draw, and Kadri will win it clean. Huberdeau lets it go. Picked up by Kadri. Now Kadri gets worked over and behind the boards, and now Edmonton can escape with this. They have an on-man rush and a 4-on-3 behind him. Can't pick it up. Dylan Dubé now with Andrew Mangiapane. Kadri off the drop pass, made available right in the catching glove of Stuart Skinner. Accurate shot there by Kadri, but good save.
Yeah, good stop right there. Skinner looks calm early. You know, Markstrom has been tested a couple of times as well. He was handcuffed by one shot, which was the one I was speaking about during the last break. And Connor McDavid right there, I'm watching the replay here on the Sportsnet feed, loses the faceoff, and actually Dylan Dubé with a great slot redirect attempt, and it just went wide in the right post. Really nice play right there for the Flames.
That was good by you to call that out, because I actually did not see that during the live play-by-play as Huberdeau missed the draw. Coleman trying to get in there as well here for Calgary, and he does. Good work there by the help of the teammates. They're going to try to bank this off with Skinner. Hannafin with the redirection with Coleman, and Calgary still has it right now. So Calgary's starting to get on the offensive side of it, see if they can keep it in the zone right now. Vander Kane trying to work over some of the Calgary Flames. Now this is picked up by Vander. He's just going to have to dump this one down off the flutter. And battling between sticks right now is Kawhi Yamamoto trying to pry it loose, but it's 1-on-3. And the Flames will able to collect in their own end as Rasmus Anderson keeps that alive. He's going to chip this one down. The defense for Daryl Sutter's squad is going to take their change. John out of here with you on play-by-play, drawn by Cooper Hopkins. It's 14:45 left to go in the first. 2-1 in favor of Edmonton over Calgary. We're scoreless right now. And again, that sounds very odd to say. Long outlet pass. And that was a shot that just went wide from Dylan Holloway at 84 miles an hour. And it's still in the zone right now, the defensive zone of Calgary. Hyman trying to work off the backhand side. Oilers just trying to keep this alive and support and behind the cage. And now the Flames with Zadorov can get this one in. Brett Ritchie is the lone forechecker right now. It's 3 Oilers to 1 Flame. Brett Ritchie wins the battle, and Kevin Rooney just shot it wide. My goodness, good effort there by Ritchie, but it just missed the net. This goes all the way back in the end. And Calgary try to work their way to the neutral zone, but some of the players collided in the door and stopped that break. You don't see that too often right now, as Calgary has this in their own end. Trying to get a pass across is Mackenzie Weegar. We'll get this one down the ice. Jonathan Huberdeau will try to be the one to collect. Mackenzie Weegar steadily holding on that blue line, but he's going to peel back now as Evan Bouchard has it for the Oilers. Here's a chance for Hyman. Leaves it for McDavid. Extra pass across at the top of the bar. It stays out. What a setup there. But the Flames dodge a bullet. Here's Ahmed rush to Foley. Lets it go. And Dubé couldn't corral the rebound. Picked up now by the Flames. Elias Lindholm will get this one to Rasmus Anderson. That was awfully close. And what a dangerous setup that was, hitting the top of the bar. Kadri will skate in toward the neutral zone right now as this falls into Mackenzie Weegar. Good outlet pass. One on the Kadri. And that one went just wide off the one-timer setup. So here's the offense that we've been waiting for right now. Starting to get a little bit settled in here between these two teams. That you know that they can do that. This is picked up now by Draisaitl. Draisaitl holding off the backhand. CC will play this off the kick play. Draisaitl with a flyby with Evander Kane. Yamamoto also trying to join in there as well as Rasmus Anderson will just kick this to an open left face-off dot. That was pretty nifty there as Kadri tries to join in as well with Dylan Dubé. And now this falls back into the players' bench. Here comes Draisaitl. It's 1-on-3, trying to hold off his forehand. He gets worked off the puck nicely there by Zadorov. And now here's Coleman from a long outlet pass, and it gets picked off by Edmonton, and they dump this down the zone near Markstrom's cage. This is near the left side of the red line as the Flames try to get this one out right now. And this goes up and on a play. Cooper, that shot was close from the Oilers.
Well, John, what a great call from you, and you really brought the excitement there, as does Connor McDavid every time down the ice, and with a classic tic-tac-toe play right there. He got everything started for Edmonton, and really it should be 1-0 right now. But I also want to give credit to Tyler Toffoli, who broke back down the left wing after that crossbar shot by the Oilers, and he almost put one under the glove of Skinner. So both teams, it took them about 7 minutes, John, but I'm seeing the Battle of Alberta here. Are you?
I am. It feels like the offense is about to initiate. The burners have been turned on. Don't you think so?
Yes, indeed. Yeah, now we're starting to see both teams get their skates beneath them, so to speak. I'm seeing the speed pick up. We see Nazem Kadri getting involved offensively in the high slot right there. You know, another flame that I want to mention is I really like what I've seen early from Blake Coleman. He's made a couple of nice plays, just simple, solid, fundamental hockey plays, active stick, active skates. You and I talk about this really every game we play. There's always a standout, and so far in this first period for me, the hardest working flame, I would say, has been number 20, Blake Coleman.
I wouldn't disagree with you. I'm trying to visualize in my head any other standouts that I'd want to pick early, and that's a good job by you, but I'm going to reserve my judgment just yet. Maybe the next 5 or 6 minutes will give us our first goal. I'm feeling that's what's going to happen at this point.
Yeah, I got to say, if we're just thinking about it here during the commercial break, Stuart Skinner has looked good. He's been tested a couple of times, a couple of redirected shots right in front of him, and a couple of clean wristers that he has turned aside. So Skinner, with his 144 goals against average coming into this game, it looks like that's a legitimate number for him. He's looked solid so far.
And that's going to have to be big for Ken Holland's squad because make no mistake about it, you think about last year's goaltending tandem of Mike Smith and Mikko Koskinen, and now you go to Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner is only 23 years of age. There's a lot of pressure on this young goaltender to do well and for the Edmonton Oilers to get farther in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. John, you and I talked about this during the offseason, the goaltending changes around the league, and obviously major shifts for the Oilers. Mike Smith out, Jack Campbell in, and now Stuart Skinner being asked to stand tall, and he certainly has so far.
Yes, he has, as we get in offsides here near the neutral zone as Daryl Sutter looks on. Again, Flames haven't played since Tuesday, since getting a big win over Pittsburgh, and that was a really good performance there for Jacob Markstrom, and that is what you want to see going forward there. Your Vezina goaltender starting around in the form against a really good team, and he did so. So Connor McDavid is going to get set to take the draw, but this is won by Elias Lindholm. Great play by Zach Hyman to put it forward to himself in the offensive zone and get things started. Spin move by Tyler Toffoli out of his own end is going to allow Jonathan Huberdeau to pick this up now. Huberdeau in between Lindholm. Now this goes back to Toffoli. Huberdeau overskates it as this goes back to the defensive side of Mackenzie Weegar, and now picked up by the Flames near the left side red line. Spinning again is Toffoli. Good work with the puck as it bounces back to him now, but Hyman able to find it here for Edmonton. We're still scoreless, 11:30 to go in the first. As this gets dumped in, the Flames end right now. Mackenzie Weegar, the pickup from the Florida Panthers, got it now on his own end, but he's got to get rid of it quickly. He's being surrounded by two Oilers. You don't want to overskate it too much. RNH with the interception right now. This is going to get picked up by Connor McDavid, holding off the backhand nicely there, alerting a few checks. Hyman, and behind the office there, Markstrom. Markstrom holding on the left post now, as this one gets down there by Christopher Tanev. And I think that was a good clear because I think Weegar was holding on to the puck a little bit too much, and that could have been dangerous. All the way down the zone now, and this is iced, and Edmonton cannot change.
Yeah, that's a bit of a lucky break right there that Edmonton goes for the stretch pass and ultimately ices the puck. And the sequence you just talked about with Weegar, I have to say, John, looked like he was doing a little too much right there in his own end. And perhaps the Flames had a set play call. Maybe he was tasked with leading a breakout. But when you have the likes of Draisaitl and McDavid and their line on the ice, you need to be very aware of who is forechecking you. And luckily, the Flames came away unscathed.
I agree with you. I didn't want to just throw anybody under the bus because Weegar did his job. But when you got McDavid and Draisaitl on the ice, they can close distance early. It's like a velociraptor chasing after you. So McDavid now trying to keep this alive in the scrum here for the Edmonton Oilers. And this bounces back to the defensive side. Big bomb shot by Calgary, but that one bounces off Skinner, and it's saved. Picked up now by Edmonton, and their end is they will dump this across the end boards here into Calgary's end, and Calgary will try to break out there with their fourth line. They'll center squad between Rooney and Lucic. Zadorov plays this off the window in the neutral zone on the players' bench, as Lucic will be the one to get to it first. He can use that big body, try to pry that loose, and they do that. They keep it alive across the blue line side. Long shot, bounce off the blocker of Skinner. Lucic trying to set it up again. Big save by Stuart Skinner one more time.
Yes, indeed, John. Another great save right there. He leans down and covers up right at the top of the blue paint. And Milan Lucic, who's actually played quite well for the Flames this year and shown some skill. He's such a great veteran in this league and is a really huge piece and a leader on this team for Calgary. He was involved right there just to the left of Skinner and is really putting some pressure on. Another player, I know we have a long list now, but another player to keep an eye on is the Flames now have 5 shots to Edmonton's 2.
Yeah, they're starting to put some pressure on Edmonton here. Again, we are scoreless through the halfway period of this contest. John out here with you on play-by-play, joined by Cooper Hopkins. We're watching the Battle of Alberta one more time. It's the second time these two teams have met up in a week. Evan Bouchard tries to keep this alive on the forehand. Took a fortunate bounce there and behind Markstrom's net. And now Calgary's got to be quick to get this out. As this is picked up, good outlet pass there from Dylan Dubé. Nazem Kadri will go ahead and take the change. Dylan Dubé had to make a quick move through traffic, and he did so. I like that heads-up play. Kulak fought off near the red line and dumped all the way down to Stuart Skinner. Again, as Cooper said, it's 5 shots to 2 right now in favor of Calgary, and we are scoreless. So this feels a little bit like, and I dare to say it, as it gets iced, a playoff game early.
Yeah, it really does, John. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here by any means, but there is an element of that Carolina and Calgary game that we mentioned in our opening, just minus the opening goals for the Hurricanes. We're seeing that, I don't want to say tentative play, but it's very deliberate play by both these teams, not taking huge risks, trying to set up good plays through the neutral zone into the O-zone. Let's see who can break through first.
Elias Lindholm wins the draw. When we get back to the stoppage there, I want to make a note on that as well. So this goes back to Markstrom. Picked up now by Lucic. Lucic able to absorb a hit and get it out. Great play by Milan Lucic. Set up a 3-on-1, and the shot goes just wide. Rooney Zadorov will pick this up now. Zadorov still has it near the left side red line as he needs some help. Elias Lindholm will come try to pry that loose, and Daryl Sutter said, let's peel back, guys, and get settled, as Trevor Lewis is the lone forechecker here for Edmonton. And again, Edmonton taking their sweet time in behind the net. We saw that a lot during the playoffs there with the Tampa Bay Lightning, did we not, Cooper? As long as you get those long settled breakouts. So picked up. We certainly did. Coleman, this gets overskated by Tanev, and this is picked up now as this gets dumped in. This goes all the way back to Mackenzie Weegar. Mackenzie Weegar will pinball this off the kick plate. Coleman again having a fight in between 3 Oilers, and this finds Michael Backlund. Backlund will bounce this off one of the Oilers right now, and Connor McDavid, here's a chance for Huberdeau. Good back check by McDavid to just nullify a 2-on-1. That's what he can do with that speed. Not only just being an elite offensive player, but speed makes things happen. McDavid, Hyman. McDavid trying to play this in between a referee that got in the way. That could have been a fortunate bounce there for Calgary. And now this is a chance in the defensive zone for the Oilers to pick that one up. 7:35 left to go in this scoreless first period. I don't mind a fast-moving period. Leon Draisaitl, a couple of toe drags. He is offside. And to your point, Cooper, of what you want to see, I think in the sense of having this, again, I'm not going to call it a slow start either, but I think that this style of play is really going to benefit. We see it's benefiting Calgary, but I think that would benefit Edmonton more going forward. You can't outscore everybody in the postseason.
Yeah, I actually agree. The way the Flames have played so far this year. And listen, both these teams have solid records, but the Flames come in tonight 5-1.
Mhm.
Although notable, the Oilers 2-0 on the road. We're still just getting underway here in this 22-23 NHL season. But I absolutely agree, John. The style of play so far is going to favor the Oilers as they try to protect their goaltender and then allow that top line, who we've already seen hit the crossbar. Really could be 1-0 right now, but if not for that red crossbar behind Jacob Markstrom.
Yeah, it's one of those situations. Okay, we understand you got Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, and they're going to want to play at a faster pace because they're supremely talented. If Connor McDavid, I always say this, if he's the number one player in the NHL, I think people are sometimes disrespectful of Draisaitl. I would put him no lower than a top five. So when you have those two guys, you would think all systems go, go, go. But as you said, Cooper, for as good as they are, knowing that they can strike at any time, if they get a good defensive shell, and then they also have good goaltending behind Stuart Skinner, they can be a really dangerous team.
Oh, they certainly can. Yeah, and to your point, John, I think what I was sort of the takeaway from my thoughts were basically, you're going to see the Oilers protect Skinner. Obviously, he is more than capable, as the numbers bear out. But we've seen it even just in the last sequence prior to this commercial timeout. We saw the Oilers really take their time and set up a breakout. They clearly have a plan, a game plan coming into this game to neutralize some of the Flames' strengths. We're seeing that in action now, and if they can stretch through the neutral zone and get quick firing passing plays in the O-zone and get shots off early, look for the Oilers to strike first.
And Cooper, I did not see this. Did you see Jonathan Huberdeau going into the room?
Just as I was finishing that thought, yes, I actually did, and I'm not sure what could be affecting him, but he did go back to the room a bit gingerly, so we're going to keep an eye on that, of course, as this game continues.
Yes, we will. When we do get information, we'll let you know during the intermission, hopefully if that gets pulled across. So Tyler Toffoli tries to get this one deep here for Milan Lucic, and we'll see how Daryl Sutter will mix some of these lines. I think Lucic might not be too bad there, considering you have that big body like Huberdeau. We might be getting a call here.
I think we are getting a call, John. I saw the referee's hand go up in the far corner, I should say, to the left of Skinner. Do we have Lucic potentially with interference here? He's arguing with the refs right now.
I think Lucic is going to get busted with a slashing call right now. To be honest with all of you, I didn't see it, so I'll have to take a look at the replay right now. So Tyson Barrie, Milan Lucic, and where's the slash?
Boy, I'm taking a look at it right there. So it looked like Lucic was trying to center a pass that got deflected away, and the shaft of his stick came across Barry's gloves, and they're calling that a slash. But first power play of the night, and it's underway right now. Edmonton on the man advantage.
All right, then. So Edmonton's on the man advantage right now as Draisaitl got worked up the puck there by Zadorov. Still trying to keep this alive as Draisaitl. It's Draisaitl and McDavid on the power play per usual, and we'll see what ends up happening with that. Now, of note, in the game on Wednesday I covered against the St. Louis Blues, they were 0 for 2, but were able to keep the puck in the zone on the Blues for an entire 2 straight minutes, almost on each power play. So keep in mind of that crisp passing there from the Oilers as they try to get something going with a minute 15 on their power play right now. Draisaitl holding give and go there for Connor McDavid. And now this is intercepted by Blake Coleman, although it's 2-on-2. Long shot in. Stuart Skinner will take no chances and hold.
Yeah, I think the right play right there, and of course that's Blake Coleman again, who, as I mentioned, I've really liked so far in this first period for Calgary. And he puts it right on. Stewart has no, Skinner, I should say, has no option other than to cover up with a second flame buried down on that far wing. So it's still 0-0, but Edmonton is going to be dangerous with a minute and 4 left to go here in their man advantage.
Defensive zone draw win by the Oilers. They're going to try to break out left to right across your radio dial. We are still scoreless. 5:55 left to go in the first in this Battle of Alberta. Jesse Puljujarvi is one of the lone wings out there as Andrew Mangiapane will try to win the race, and he's going to force the Oilers and Puljujarvi to pull back on the power play side. So good job by the Calgary Flames on the kill so far, and especially throughout the year. That's one of their strong points. But this Oilers power play can score in a heartbeat. Puljujarvi tries to pick this up now as McLeod will get this one deep. Try to get picked up by Evander Kane. Evander Kane keeps it alive towards left side defense. Shot goes just wide of Markstrom. This is still with the Oilers now. And Kane passes it across to Evan Bouchard. Bouchard overskates it, has to go back and collect. Flip down pass, glove down by Darnell Nurse. Extra pass across. McLeod. Kane. Big save there by Markstrom, but it's still with the Oilers. Bouchard near the right dot looking for a seam pass. And that one goes just wide, but this is still in the Flames' end as the power play expires. Bouchard in through the screen. Now this is on the left side red line. Another shot there by Kane. Where's the puck? As it's blown dead. Markstrom was looking around, and the Flames and the Oilers want this to keep going.
Wow, interesting exchange right there as the play is whistled dead. I'm not sure if the puck got up into the mesh above the glass, but Markstrom had to be on his toes right there in the last 30 seconds of that power play for Edmonton. They had a couple of good opportunities and one or two of those shots, John. I'm not sure Markstrom knew where the puck was. Luckily, it was behind him, but not in the cage. It was bouncing around behind that trapezoid and then coming out the other side.
Yeah, normally you would see a goaltender look around and kind of scan and turn the head slowly. Markstrom kind of looked like an old school reference, a Tasmanian devil trying to locate the puck.
Yeah, he absolutely had his head on a swivel right there. And I will say, I think the Flames got a little bit of puck luck right there, that the puck did not find its way into the net. But Markstrom is somebody we mentioned when we were about ready to drop the puck for this game. And I have actually liked him quite a bit so far. Do you have any thoughts on what you've seen from Jacob Markstrom in net, John?
I think he has had to make some tough saves off some redirections and some distant traffic. Again, tracking the puck there aside off the last power play. But yeah, I think Markstrom has been good, and I think the play has carried over from the Tuesday contest. And that is what you want to see, because Tuesday to Saturday is definitely a long layoff. Maybe you get the batteries reset, get back in, get locked in, and it certainly looks like Markstrom is early.
Yeah, I thought so far, and something that we're gonna chat about potentially later. As we get into our intermissions, the Flames have been at home so much during the season so far. They've only had one game on the road, and John, I want to get your thoughts a little later about what you think it can do to a team when you've had so much home cooking. Sometimes when you head out for a big road swing, that can be a tough hill to climb. After getting into your patterns and into your ways at home. So we'll chat about that when we have a little more runway.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. And you get a chance to see some highlights here in between the St. Louis Blues and the Oilers. Hopefully they show that Ryan O'Reilly deflection goal. That was pretty nasty, but the Oilers were able to pull out a excellent win and behind Stuart Skinner that was busy in that game against the Blues.
Absolutely. 37 saves in that 3-1 win. He's made some big saves tonight. 6, in fact, is now, it's definitely worth mentioning, number 10 for Calgary. Everyone breathes a sigh of relief. Jonathan Huberdeau back on the bench for Calgary.
That is excellent to see right now, as it's going to be an offensive zone draw win, but great pressure there by the Flames. And guess who? Milan Lucic. He's been everywhere right now in this first period. Able to break that through. Anytime you get a faceoff win and it gets intercepted by a winger, I always hated that in the video game. This Tyson Berry will get this one in deep. Zadorov trying to cancel him off. It's loose out in front toward the Flaming Sea, and this is going to roll all the way back. 4:25 left to go in the first of the opening stanza. Scoreless contest between the Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. 6-2 shot advantage for the Flames. Dumped down the ice right now and hard off the inboards as Tanev will pick this one back up. Second line out there for the forward side for Daryl Sutter's squad is Nazem Kadri, able to get a Mangiapane clear. Kadri able to intercept off the backhand, and then the Edmonton Oilers will pick this one up quickly. Still having a tough time trying to get out of their zone, as now this goes all the way back down to Christopher Tanev and Mackenzie Weegar, first line defense. Try to get picked up by Kadri, but the pass was a little too far, and now this is picked up by the Flames. Flames will go ahead and skate back through their own end right now as Weegar will set things up. Flames still trying to work their way through the neutral zone, and they'll dump back through the defensive zone one more time. And now it's turned over. So here's a chance potentially for the Edmonton Oilers. Shot by Barry gets deflected. And now this is a chance for Lewis. Lewis trying to cut off there with Rasmus Anderson. Loose out in front, extra pass across. And it was knocked away just in time as the Oilers could not corral it, as Ryan Nugent-Hopkins couldn't get a piece. Power moved to the front of the net, but none of the Oilers were there. And what all of a sudden turned out to be a simple play in their own end almost spelled danger.
Wow, John, so much to talk about right there. Let's talk about the most recent thing that I saw. I'm surprised Michael Backlund is not going to box for hooking or interference right now. In fact, I do see on the Sportsnet feed, are we getting a cross-check call? It might be against number 11, Michael Backlund. Are you seeing the same thing I've seen?
I just saw it now. Backlund was trying to work over Connor McDavid and stop him from getting a chance off the turnover, so I feel like he had to do that.
Yeah, I think so too. McDavid with that power move, and the cross check came early as McDavid spun out of the near corner. I didn't actually think that was a cross check necessarily that prevented him from getting the shot off, but nonetheless, it's another man advantage for Edmonton.
And the Edmonton Oilers and McDavid have something to do toward the end of the first period. They could get a lead going into the locker room. So picked up now. Edmonton on their second power play, a minute 40 left to go. They've kept in the zone so far. McDavid has it near the right circle with Tyson Barrie holding. There's a chance for Nugent Hopkins. His pass tried to find McDavid. It bounced up through the air. Good job by Tyson Barrie just to keep that in the zone as it goes back to RNH. Crisscrosses here with Barrie. Here's a chance for McDavid as he picks that one up and shot it just high. He couldn't pick up the puck off the first effort, and that allowed Markstrom to get back in the goal crease, but the shot was wide. And now here's a chance. Lindholm trying to get it out. He can't. This gets picked up by McDavid. Pass across. Shot right on the doorstep as Kane was looking for a deflection. It's still with the Oilers right now. A minute left to go on their second power play. McDavid, extra pass. Shot across. What a stop by Markstrom as he falls on it and gets the whistle.
John, I am not sure how this game remains scoreless, my friend. There are 58 seconds left in this power play. This man advantage has looked much, much stronger for the Oilers. They have fully settled in here. They've had the scoring opportunities they've been looking for. The Flames have been unable really to get out of their own way and are playing, I would say, more tentative hockey right now than their provincial rivals. And it easily could be 1 or 2-0 at this point.
And I'm seeing something as we're back underneath the action now that the Oilers wanted another penalty because the Flames played it with the glove hand. But now this could be a breakout chance. Toffoli with the long shot into the break. And Skinner makes the save, shorthanded. So hold on to your tickets right now to the end of this first period. It's 35 seconds left to go in Edmonton's second power play. Puljujärvi gets this in. It bounces off the stick. Goes to Zach Hyman. Power move toward the net off the backhand. And now this goes near the left side dot. As this is picked up by Evan Bouchard. Now Darnell Nurse. Try to get kept in nicely there by Bouchard with the glove hand as this goes to Ryan McLeod. Darnell Nurse trying to help out for the Oilers to keep this in the offensive zone. And the Flames just trying to kill some time right now. No really urgency to clear. They just want to locate and kill time. 5 seconds to go. That one went wide. It still bounced off the inboards toward the right side faceoff dot. Edmonton's power play expires, but it's dangerous. And somehow Markstrom locates the puck with his glove.
Wow, John, a couple of great glove saves right there. I think that the shot you described right before that most recent one may have gone off of the webbing of Markstrom's glove. I may have bounced off the glass behind him, but either way, Jacob Markstrom has had to be brilliant tonight, and he has met that mark. He has been that goaltender. No, you are correct, sir. It is another crossbar shot. So saved by the crossbar twice is the netminder for the Flames. And Edmonton certainly looks the stronger team right now.
Cody Ceci with a power move to the net. His sticks are everywhere. And the Edmonton Oilers collect one slap shot bounced off the glove of Markstrom. It's chaos right now with 45 seconds left to go in the first. Trying to get picked up near the right side red line. The Flames just need to get this out, and the pass just missed. And now here's a chance, as I thought Kadri was held. It's still live. Mangiapane cross pass. And I think there should be a penalty against Edmonton for holding Kadri. I think that's what we're getting.
I think so too. That one was pretty obvious as they were trying to avoid a 2-on-1 right there. And the Flames' inarguable best player so far, Nazem Kadri, is held as he streaks through the neutral zone. So the Flames, interestingly, have really only had chances coming through the neutral zone on breakaways or partial breakaways, and 2 of those have been for Tyler Teapot Toffoli. He could have 2 goals all on his own, but the Edmonton Oilers have to be frustrated as I see the replay here on the Sportsnet feed. My goodness, Jacob Markstrom has really answered the bell, and he has stoned the Oilers as we are about to finish this first period.
Chance for Draisaitl now to win a defensive zone faceoff against Elias Lindholm. He does so. So Calgary's first power play, if they don't score, is going to be able to carry over to the dressing room right now. We're still scoreless, but honestly, with Cooper, as we're watching this game, not quite sure how still, as it's 8-7 now on the shot board in favor of the Oilers. The Oilers have not been good so far on the penalty kill. They said 75% as it gets dumped down the ice. 5 seconds to work with in this first period action, and this is going to be played by Jonathan Huberdeau. That's how we're going to end the first period here, Cooper, scoreless.
Well, and I'll say it again, it absolutely needs to be mentioned. I am stunned that it is 0-0 between the Oilers and the Flames in this Battle of Alberta, and Markstrom rightfully getting some fist bumps from his teammates. He bailed out the boys in front of him multiple times, and I'm not sure what it's going to take, but someone needs to say something in that dressing room for the players wearing red. My goodness, John, we have tons to talk about here in this Battle of Alberta. We're at the first intermission, and again, shockingly, still 0-0.
So we can talk about a couple things in this 0-0. We can dissect the Edmonton Oilers power play. We can dissect Jacob Markstrom's play, and also dissect the fact that a couple of those shots went off the crossbar. And I felt like I needed timeout. This is a good intermission because even though the two teams haven't hit a shot total that has hit the double-digit marker yet, it feels like there was so much action in the first.
Oh, yeah, there really was. And, I think what we saw the Oilers do was build upon that first man advantage. They looked solid in their first power play. They technically only had, I believe they only had one shot on goal during their first power play. But you can see what they're trying to do. They like to play low to high. They like to go face-off circle to face-off circle. They know McDavid can create his own space. And by drawing the attention of the Flames defenders and the penalty killers, he's going to create space off of the puck for his teammates. I mean, that's some hockey 101 stuff. But when you have players that special, you see the plays they're trying to set up. We have the fortune of watching our feed and really seeing the blue liners step in and the wingers work into open space as well. And somehow, whether it was through a beautiful pad save, which Markstrom had many, catching the puck through traffic in the glove, or having the hockey gods keep that puck out by dropping the height of the crossbar just enough to hear that sound of the puck ringing off of the bar. The Flames have remained tied with their rivals. And John, I'm not expecting that to remain the same if the Flames come out and play the second the way they did the first.
No, I mean, there's a certain situations where you could say a couple of those penalties, maybe you don't want them to take, but also I think those penalties were taken because there was a couple poor turnovers in Calgary Flames end that allowed them to have to be on the penalty kill. Do you agree? They got to clean that up.
Yeah, we saw Mackenzie Weegar. That was a play we mentioned as we got past the halfway point of the first period, where it seemed like he was just doing a little too much. And I used the word tentative earlier. That does stick in my mind. That word in particular. The Flames seemed a little hesitant to really confidently come out of their own zone with pace. And then we saw Rasmus Andersson, who really is a fantastic top pairing defenseman for Calgary, and continues to improve. Still a young player. We saw an uncharacteristic turnover there that resulted in extended zone time for Edmonton, and then ultimately the Michael Backlund cross-checking penalty. So you could see the momentum building against the Flames in this instance. So a very good observation by you, John.
So I know we talked about this a little bit last week when we covered a game as far as some of these teams that may be hitting or may not be hitting panic indexes. Do you want to go over your scoreboard for this evening?
Yeah, we have to mention first off the hands, or at least for the fan base, the hands closest to the panic button were those of the Vancouver Canucks fans in British Columbia and across Canada and North America. But I think that they've gotten a little reprieve over the last couple of games. Listen, the Seattle Kraken, I used the term world beater earlier when describing the Chicago Blackhawks as a team that is what they are not. That is what the Kraken are not, but they are a little bit better this season. They're improved, and unfortunately, they have the distinction of being the team to give Vancouver their first win of the year. So that was a 5-4 game. The the Canucks, I should say, I was about to say the Oilers, but the Canucks were able to put in an empty netter while I believe it was Martin Jones was the goaltender for the Kraken in that game. And actually, believe it or not, that empty netter was the game winner for the Canucks because the Kraken did come back to score a fourth goal. So 5-4 was the final a couple nights ago, but it definitely needs to be mentioned that I can't, John, I keep wanting to say the Oilers. I'm so fixated on this Battle of Alberta. It's so compelling, my friend. The Canucks absolutely trounced the Pittsburgh Penguins, who've been one of the hottest teams in the NHL, a 5-1 final. John, what do you think about that score and the dominance that the Canucks showed? Did they just need to get one win to build some confidence? Are we going to see a winning streak here?
It seems like that. They got 2 in a row now. They've made some minor trades to address some depth, I was told, over the last few days. And the one thing I guess you can say about Pittsburgh, that Canadian road trip, they did not treat them nicely. 0-2-1 in the 3 games.
Yeah, absolutely. But apparently a win against the Kraken was all they needed to get revved up. And the Canucks, who are now 2-5-2, took down the Penguins. They're now 4-3-1. And I'm really interested to hear, John, who are you liking? I'm looking at teams like the New York Islanders, who just beat the Hurricanes 6-2. They're now at 500 for the season. Are we going to see a team like the Islanders potentially make some noise as well?
That was what was supposed to be the marching orders there for the Islanders. You remember last season as they were trying to move into Barclays, they had that long road stand, and that was just a killer. It was like 15 straight games to start the year, and there was like no way that team could bounce back from that. Again, you still have Anders Lee, you got Matthew Barzal, you got a lot of good pieces there, so they're expecting a good bounce back. And hey, they picked up a 5-4 win against the defending Stanley Cup champion Colorado Avalanche, that are 4-4-1 in the season.
Absolutely. Now, listen, I don't think too many teams are going to be complaining about a record of 4-4-1. But when you're the Colorado Avalanche and you're coming off of a Stanley Cup championship, are you willing to say, John, that the Avalanche have disappointed so far in the season, or do you think that they are just coming off of a minor Stanley Cup hangover and we'll see them hit the gas as we continue?
Cooper, I'll be completely honest with you. I would still say 6 or 7 more games before I start to reserve my judgment, because they're still in that Stanley Cup hangover. But I can say it's been a disappointing slow start, but I don't think it's time to panic just yet. But I do want to shift your attention into a team that I think needs to panic a little bit in the Eastern Conference. And again, I know we're American boys talking on this broadcast, but it's never too late to talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? Toronto Maple Leafs get a 4-2 loss to the LA Kings, and now the Maple Leafs 4-4-1 in the season. Their losses include the Arizona Coyotes, the Montreal Canadiens, and the San Jose Sharks the night before. Cause for concern?
I think so. I think when you're losing the way they did to Arizona, you have to take a look at yourself. And what the Leafs have done since that loss has been shaky. I don't want to be hyperbolic. I don't want to say that the sky is falling for them. But the Leafs, after a solid playoff run last year, obviously not as lengthy as they wanted, but by solid I mean just the way that they looked.
Absolutely.
I thought that they made an impact. Of course, they were bounced from the playoffs, but I think you and I, and most hockey fans and observers and journalists believed we'd see more from the Leafs early on, and that 4-4-1 record is not good enough for the folks in Toronto. Let's just put it that way.
No, because I'll take it a step further here. If you can't get up against the Canadians and some of these other teams like that, like the Sharks, and you get trounced and you don't look good, boy, that pressure index, just like it is to win a Stanley Cup and you win a first round since 2004, that just gets heavier and heavier. I understand Kyle Dubas, again, with all the players that we talked about, with Marners, Matthews, Nylander, Tavares. There's nothing else that they can do, but all those guys have been there for a long time. They got to get their heads out of there, you know what, and figure this out.
Yeah, absolutely. There's no question about it, and that was what I was alluding to. And a great teammate right there. You are John Ott. You I had it sort of teed up and you knocked it down, is those losses to those teams are what is most concerning. And I'm not sure what it's going to take, but you cannot miss points. Let's just put it that way. Let's just talk about the numbers of it. You can't miss points against teams like that.
And again, we talked about the Eastern Conference. You want to lay into the Buffalo Sabres, who got yet another win. Look, I understand it's the Blackhawks, but they're 5-3 on the season, Cooper. We're expecting, even with the Red Wings, with the Ottawa Senators and teams like that, for the Eastern Conference to be better. You're not expecting those complete 100-point barren wasteland wild cards that the Bruins and the Capitals had last year. So if the Maple Leafs start losing a few more of these games and leave those points on the table, I'm not saying they're going to miss the playoffs, but fans certainly expect the top 3 seed in the Atlantic. And if you keep dropping those games, that's going to go by the wayside quickly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I want to stay in the Eastern Conference briefly here, and please let me know if I'm transitioning too quickly. But
you're good.
All this talk about the Eastern teams makes me think about the New York Rangers and their win against the Dallas Stars, 6-3. A game in which Jake Ottinger exits with an injury. John, do we have any additional details about that? Because I do not have further details. I would love to share them with our listeners, but all I know is that the Rangers take care of business in a big way, and the Dallas Stars have now a lot of concern about their number 1 goaltender.
And that's why I love working with you, man, because I was going to bring that one up. I felt like we had to talk about that. And right now, it just says questionable to return. He did not return. It's a lower body injury, and the jury is still out. And if Jake Ottinger misses some extended time here, Cooper, we understand that Dallas got off to a hot start, right? They're still a really good team at 5-3-1 on the season. But, oh, boy, if they miss Ottinger for some time, that could spell disaster.
Yeah, it absolutely could. And in no uncertain terms, I should say, he picked up right where he left off.
Absolutely.
And as we mentioned multiple times in our coverage, John, we had a front row seat, so to speak, the proverbial front row seat of our screens to watch Jake Ottinger really become a top goaltender in this league in his series, in his team series against the Flames last year in the Stanley Cup playoffs in round 1, taking them all the way to 7 games. And Johnny Gaudreau heroics were necessary to knock out the Stars. So speaking of being knocked out, like you said, if Ottinger is gone for any length of time, you have to be pretty seriously concerned about the Stars' ability to sustain this hot start.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So I need to just go sport to sport here because I know that there's a lot of stuff going on here, Cooper. I got a chance to broadcast Game 1 of the World Series with a family friend. Did you get a chance to watch any of that madness last night?
Well, yes, sir. I did the opposite of what I'm doing tonight. Hey, we're doing a little work this evening. Last night, I was laid back. I got to watch that one purely as a fan. And listen, having grown up in Seattle, the Houston Astros are not near or dear to my heart. They're far from it. So I was certainly pleased to see the Phillies come back. And it was reminiscent of the Mariners with that huge comeback down 8 runs against Toronto in their wild card 3-game series, an historic comeback win to seal the series win in that one. But so great that you got to call last night's 6-5 win with heroics in the 10th, and then the Phillies close it out. How was that? Just as on the broadcasting side, what was the experience like for you?
So, okay, there's no instance in me, and I won't lie to anybody. We understand the numbers, and I'll break those down in a second. When the Astros take a 5-0 lead and you watch Kyle Tucker hit a pair of home runs, you think that game's over. You got Justin Verlander on the mound. This is what pains me here, Cooper. We believe that Justin Verlander's probably going to the Hall of Fame, correct? There's no doubt about that. It just depends, right? It just depends on where he wants to retire if Houston won again. That being said, do you want to know who the worst numbers are as far as the World Series minimum 40 innings? It's Justin Verlander with an ERA over 6. He gave up 5 runs. That is unbelievable. Again, people will say, well, it's not because he struggled in the World Series. If the Astros have a 5-0 lead with a reigning Cy Young a winner on the mound that has an ERA of 1.77 this year, that's an epic collapse. That was an incredible game to call. There's no doubt about it. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm glad that you got to be on the call, and frankly, that's one I haven't had a chance yet. I'm gonna pull up Hope the Sports Guy. I'm hoping that one is available on Spotify. That's where I go to hear everything from you, my friend. So I will be taking a peek at that, or a listen, I should say. But what a game! And it's worth mentioning right now that that 5-run tally has been met yet again by the Astros. They have put 5 on the board, as they did last night. But in the top of the 8th, 2 down for the Phillies with runners on the corners. It is currently a 5-1 score. So Philadelphia with some work to do if they want to go back to Pennsylvania up 2-0 in the series.
So I know it's a different sport, but I can go draw back on this when we did with the Stanley Cup playoffs. So do you think Philadelphia just did their job in the 2-3-2 format? You get that split and you feel good about yourself?
To put it simply, yes. I think that is probably what those players and the coaching staff were hoping for. Houston's had so much success at home, not only in this playoff run, but in really all of their playoff runs. They're just so good at Minute Maid. For the Phillies to do what they did, and I'm obviously every single one of those players is used to playing day in and day out. And by no means do I think that the Phillies roster is just going to take the next day off after coming up with that huge victory. But going back to Pennsylvania, going back to Philadelphia, 1-1 is a win for Philly, I would say. Do you agree?
I think so too. And I think the one thing I want to mention too, I know we'll be getting into our second period shortly, but there was a lot of people that I heard say that the Astros are just going to roll over Philly and win in 5 games. And you realize, okay, the Phillies won 2 on the wild card against the St. Louis Cardinals, who many thought would be a team of destiny because Albert Pujols hits home run number 700, and that's few and far between. And then you go ahead and you beat the defending world champions in the Atlanta Braves, and then you knock out the San Diego Padres, who traded for Hader and Soto. So you can't tell me that the Philadelphia Phillies wouldn't be ready to play against the Houston Astros.
Yeah, absolutely not. No, I never bought for a moment the Phillies didn't have what it takes to make a really deep run in the Major League Baseball postseason, and here they are. And here they are with a win already under their belt in the World Series. And I'm so interested to see when they head back home. If they can take a 2-1 advantage, that's got to build a lot of confidence to them. I would love to see Bryce Harper's certainly contributing. I'd love to see him heat up just a little bit. I know that's an obvious name to think about, but I've loved the contributions from Gene Segura. He's had some timely hitting as well, former Mariner, so he's always
yes, he was really good.
And has overcome a little bit of shaky play out in the field. I think he's really focused in and has been a big contributor for the Phillies. So I love those players making an impact. I love the heroics from last night, and even if the Houston Astros are able to take the victory tonight, which it seems they will, a big step in the right direction for Philly, going back to their home park 1-1 in the World Series.
So to your point really quickly about the Houston Astros, I feel the same way that you do. I see my former GM now, Dave Dombrowski, with the Philadelphia Phillies, and so that's a little bit different. And Nick Castellanos, a guy that couldn't even play the field in Detroit, made one of the best catches in that game to preserve a chance for the Phillies to continue on in extra innings. Absolutely incredible game. We're going to be getting close now to our puck drop here, so I'm going to take the half of this period here, Cooper, and then let you take it the rest of the way.
Yes, indeed. Excited to get into this, hoping that the Flames can put their foot on the gas and settle in a bit. They were a bit shaky, but they have man advantage to start the second. We'll see if they can get the first goal of the night.
This is a series, and ever since I've been working here with Cooper and enjoying all these games, it's always a pleasure. I've always kept my eyes glued to this matchup, regardless of wherever these teams are going to be in the standings now. I think forever going forward here, Cooper, I will always keep my eyes on it, especially now you got Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Anytime you got them on the ice, you got to keep your eyes on it. Nazem Kadri, I think, is quickly, I will say this, not to be a homer or anything, I think he's always grown one of my favorite players. Just love the way that he plays. And I think the Toronto Maple Leafs probably would still miss him, is my guess. So back underneath the action now, $1:10 left to go in the Calgary Flames first power play. We're just starting the second period. We are scoreless, folks. That's not something that we would have said between these teams right now. Calgary's got it in the offensive end with Rasmus Anderson. Mangiapane, cross pass. Back to Rasmus with the bomb. It bounced off Stuart Skinner's glove. It's live off of a back pass and then picked up by the Oilers. We'll see if they have a breakout. It's Draisaitl leading off the 2-on-1. He's going to like to go with the wrist shot. It bounces right back to Markstrom, and he makes the save and holds.
Wow, so action right away for Markstrom while the Flames are on the power play. Not what any Flames fan wanted to see. Hoping for more from this top power play unit in particular. The Flames still have 44 seconds to work with here and need to get going as they did have a nice deflection in front and went off the mask of Skinner.
So RNH will get set to the draw against Dylan Dubé as Jay Woodcroft's coaching staff is trying to make sure they get things set up here for the penalty kill. As we got to look at that, Kulak can't keep it in the zone, and Michael Backlund will play this across to Foley. We'll get this one down. There's a chance for Backlund, but he's going to go ahead and just put this in deeper into the offensive zone. Mackenzie Weegar can't hold that blue line, unfortunately for the Flames, and now they'll have to touch back up across the Flaming Sea, going left, right across your radio dial. Weegar trying to pick this up now. He gets canceled off by Kulak, and the Edmonton Oilers do their job, and they get this one down. And it seems like Calgary is going to go 0 for 1 on the power play. Edmonton's 0 for 2, but honestly, going back into that first intermission, it's difficult to say why, if not for the crossbar and the play of Markstrom. It's been exciting here. 10-8 is the shot board in favor of the Oilers against the Flames, and we have no goal just yet. Here's a chance of Dubé. Good setup there, but the shot went just wide, trying to get picked up there by Christopher Tanev. And now here's something for the Oilers. A 2-on-1. Derek Ryan, cross pass there to McDavid, but he can't find it in between the stick. And the pass goes just wide of Lindholm. And then a good bounce here from Mangiapane. Shoots for the top left corner, and he missed it.
John, what a back and forth right there. We've seen a couple of these in the game where we've gone end to end. Derek Ryan, former Flame, tries to sauce one over to number 97. But the pass was a little strong. It was up near the gloves. It needed to be down closer to the ice for McDavid to be able to handle that. So Zadorov, who was in between those two players for the Oilers, bailed out a bit. Then Mangiapane comes the other way, gets all the way down into the left slot, and just misses. And guess what? It's 2-1 on crossbars. Mangiapane rings one off the iron.
Yeah, this is something I'll have to talk about in the game story. If not for the crossbar, this could be 3 goals, at least in this context. Elias Lindholm wins the offensive zone draw. A chance now for the Flames as they can keep this alive. Andrew Mangiapane off the backhand. Nobody's there, though. Rasmus Anderson, nice play to get that head of Kane. Flames keep this alive. And behind the offensive Skinner right now. Taller to Foley. Now with Lindholm, trying to get back to Rasmus Anderson. And now Draisaitl. He's peeling the Jets on right now, and he holds off the forehand. And now the Oilers can try to get some pressure here as Evander Kane will get this in deep. Noah Hannafin will collect as it's picked up an interception, and Elias Lindholm gets stick lifted as this goes back now to Tyler Toffoli. Toffoli trying to get this out of the zone nicely there. Good touch pass for Lindholm. Now Huberdeau. Huberdeau is going to like to shoot as this is going to bounce back to Lindholm near the left faceoff circle. Lindholm has it now as he rattles this around the kick plate. This is picked up now by Darnell Nurse. Nurse will hold in his own end, waiting patiently right now. Here's a chance for the Oilers to get this in deep in the offensive zone. Picked up now, Richie. He gets canceled off the puck. And this is going to be an icing against the Flames, so they cannot change.
Yeah, interesting events right there with Jonathan Huberdeau as he was just barely able to come in onside, holds the puck as he comes down on the far wing there towards Skinner's blocker side, and he elects to shoot a really sharp angled shot. Shades of Johnny Gaudreau right there. And guess what, John? We're tied on crossbars. Huberdeau hits the crossbar.
You can't make this stuff up, folks. This is a crazy game right now. Shots tied at 10, crossbars tied at 2, and we're scoreless. This is in the defensive zone of the Oilers right now, but it's just a massive humanity right now between Holloway, the fourth line, for the Oilers squad as they're trying to get this loose. Picked up now. Stone. Michael Stone going to let it go immediately. Gets tipped out for a big save by Skinner. And he's going to hold on as the helmet pops off, and now we got a meeting near the crease.
Wow, that's what Michael Stone does so well, and he's in the lineup on that third pairing for the Flames because Oliver Shillington remains out and I think it was Kevin Rooney on the doorstep with a chance to deflect, and somehow getting that big body in front is Skinner, and he makes a huge save right there. One of the Flames' best scoring opportunities in a while.
I would never say that Oliver Shillington shouldn't go back on the first line and things like that, but you got to be happy, Cooper, with the way that Michael Stone's played so far this season on the back end, aren't you?
Absolutely. Very simply put, he's an extremely hard worker who finds himself in the right place at the right time and has a howitzer of a slapper.
So we're looking at it right now, getting a chance to look at Stone. Again, he's one of the point total leaders here for Calgary. He's about 6 on the season right now already, and he's having to play defense when he can kind of supplement between a forward and a defensive role. So it's always nice versatility to have. So Backlund is going to stay in the draw, and Rossi is going to come in here for the Edmonton Oilers. So Backlund going to get set to take the draw against Fogle, and he wins it clean. Stone will fire this right on net off the wrist shot. See if the Flames can keep this in. They do. They're with Dylan Dubé. Good hustle there. Another shot goes just wide. This pinball is now near the right side red line, where the Flames can continue to buzz. Backlund trying to keep this alive in behind the office of Skinner right now, and the Oilers will collect. Long outlet pass. Good deflection there to knock it away from Puljujärvi as Zadorov. And this is a pass by Markstrom that gets misplayed, and now the Oilers can continue to get some time in here as it's not cleared out again by Zadorov. And now we have a penalty hand in the air, I believe. Kulak has it, so this would be a delayed penalty against the Flames. Third power play upcoming. We'll see who it's going to be on.
Yeah, John, I'm checking the Sportsnet feed here. I think the penalty came away from the puck as the camera was moving through the zone. Charles Sutter looks unimpressed with developments here. I think he's going to watch his defenseman, Nikita Zadorov, head off for 2, but I'm not entirely clear here. Let me know if you... Oh, excuse me.
I think it's Blake Coleman.
It is Blake Coleman. Yeah, we were just getting a shot of Zadorov sort of skating through the neutral zone there back toward the bench. It's Coleman. So a third power play coming up here. And is it that Coleman got the stick up? He tried to clear the zone. Yes, he did. Tyson Berry gets clipped by Coleman's stick right in the chin. I don't think any blood, so it's 2 minutes for high sticking for Coleman.
2-minute minors, what we got right now, and the Oilers are on their third power play of the game. How many times can the Flames able to kill this one? And now here's a shorthanded chance for Backlund. Scores! Unbelievable! Flames take the lead.
Just like that, John, the team that had been building some momentum finally breaks through, and in the most unexpected way, the third power play, still ongoing, we should say, for Edmonton, but assistant captain Michael Backlund, who many say should wear the C for Calgary, the C of the captain, it's number 11, the Swede, the longest tenured Flame, breaks down the ice on a breakaway. Great setup by Elias Lindholm, and Michael Backlund makes no mistake. 5 goalie goes right under the armpit of that glove side of Skinner, and it's 1-0 Flames.
Man, that Lindholm Backlund play that we just saw to pry that loose and have Backlund get set up there, that was a beautiful play and an even better shot. And now the Oilers are back on their power play, having to give up a shorthanded goal. Here's a chance now, McDavid trying to buy some space, and it's brushed aside there by the Flames. There could be another opportunity for Backlund. Backlund off to the races, holds, cross pass, oh, what a stop by Skinner. And now, here come the Oilers the other way with Draisaitl. Draisaitl dropped the McDavid, cross pass, scores! And it's a tie game.
John, I was about to say it. I thought Skinner might cover up, and I might have a chance to say it. I felt like the Flames would be at their most precarious position, having just scored. I had a feeling that top unit from the Oilers would turn up the heat, and that is exactly what Leon Draisaitl does. We see his speed, we see his skill. Backlund and Lindholm inches away from making it 2-0 just moments prior. But the Oilers come back down with numbers the other way, and they strike when they need it most. This game is tied, and we officially have ourselves a Battle of Alberta.
Yes, we do. McDavid and Draisaitl just have a chance, as Cooper said, with Backlund. There you go, right there. You put the top engines on the ice, and all of a sudden we get our goals back-to-back that we've been waiting for right now. Back underneath the action as it's now a 1-1 contest. This is dumped in deep. Here's a chance now for Jesse Pugliarvi. Long outlet pass. Good cancel off by the Flames defense. Kadri can try to settle this down as the Flames look to go left to right. It's a 3-on-3 here for the Flames. Worked off the puck is Dubé. Still alive now. Bomb shot in front of Skinner. And this goes now near the right side. Red line. Mangiapane will collect with Kadri. Kadri holding it now off the backhand. Good play by Ryan McLeod just to keep that alive with the stick. Great move by Nurse off the backhand as he's near the left side faceoff dot. Here come the Oilers. Cross pass. What a stop by Markstrom. And now here come the Flames. Here's a chance now as they are onside on the fourth line side, and Rooney lost it. And now Ritchie has to peel back, and this goes all the way down the ice where this will be an icing.
My goodness, John. Markstrom cutting down that angle on the last bang play right there. He goes right to left, gets in position, makes himself big, and makes a huge stop. And then the end-to-end action continues as Dylan Dubé comes down 3-on-2. He held a little too long, probably should have chosen a pass. And actually, we're getting a Sportsnet replay here. Markstrom opened up the 5-hole, and Draisaitl credited with the goal, but it looks like it went in off Hannafen's stick. So I'll take a look at the official score sheet. That could be credited to a different goal scorer for Edmonton.
That's just bad luck if I saw that go against Hannafin, because I do like the hustle. You just hopefully don't want to bounce it into your own goaltender. Back underneath the action right now, as this is picked up by the Oilers. All of a sudden, the heat's been turned on in the kitchen as Lucic got hit down pretty hard for the neutral zone, and now Lucic will pick it back up. Here comes Ritchie trying to get this across to Lucic. Lucic bounces it off the glove hand, keeps this alive, and Ritchie can't get to it. And the defenseman were out for a change as Uyghur and Tanev couldn't hold that line. Here's a chance now, but it goes just toward the left side red line. Picked up now by the Oilers as they can keep this in the zone. As Short and Ryan are out there right now for Jay Woodcroft's squad. Almost intercepted, picked up now by Rooney, and he's going to put this one deep as all of the forwards for Calgary can go ahead and take a change. 13 minutes left to go in the second period. We got our goals now, 1-1 aside. Zach Hyman has the latest goal as it was unassisted from what they show from what Cooper was saying that bounced off of Hannafin. So Hannafin now in behind his own end, Lindholm trying to join. Huberdeau as well as this gets canceled through the neutral zone. Picked up now by Huberdeau, momentarily across the red line. And the Oilers trying to find their way through right now. Picked up by Jacob Markstrom. Markstrom rattles this around the kick plate, and it goes up and out of play.
Yep, John, you made mention of it just a moment ago. So the unassisted goal goes to Zach Hyman of the Oilers, who was looking for Draisaitl to Markstrom's right, but a diving Noah Hannafin with the bad luck. It looks like the hockey gods are trying to even things out here. Saved by the crossbar a couple times for Markstrom and the Flames, but the goal that tied this game goes off of Hannafin's stick blade and through the 5-hole, crosses the line, and makes it 1-1. So what a series here of events in this second period. The action finally is broken wide open. Are you liking this style of play? Now, John, in the first period, we were talking about the Oilers playing a bit more of a, not a slowed down style, but a very deliberate style of hockey. Now we're seeing that fiery action that we expect back and forth. Do you think that's going to favor the Flames, or do you think the Oilers can hang with that style of play?
I think toward the playoffs, I know things kind of went one-sided one way, and it felt like a snowball, but I feel like the Flames will have the better of this opportunity only because of the defense that they have back there, that the Oilers, I don't think, have those same type of pieces. No disrespect to Darnell Nurse and Kulak and all of that. But again, no Shillington for the Flames. But I think that back end for Calgary is what's going to allow them to maybe even win this game. But going forward, that's one of the strengths of this team more so than Edmonton.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And you have players like you just said, like Brett Kulak, former Flame, and we're looking at a nice play there from Tyson. To draw a penalty, Tyson Berry earlier in this game. But you do have to give the nod to the Flames when it comes to the Blue Liners.
No doubt about that. I don't want to be too crazy about that because I said, if you're asking me who's going to match up with McDavid and Draisaitl, my answer would be no one.
That would be mine as well. That is the correct answer. They stand alone. And let's this is the bullseye for the Flames. They are trying to hit this, and they're looking for that top line to fully gel. We've seen Tyler Toffoli with some nice chances tonight, but look at Toffoli and Huberdeau especially to turn it on as the game continues.
So once we get the next stoppage, I'm going to hand it over here to Cooper Hopkins. Hopefully it'll be towards the halfway point. Chance for a 2-on-1, picked up now by Coleman, but he's going to need some help. Long slap shot right into the breadbasket of Skinner. So if you want to take this one now here, Cooper, or if you want me to finish up the last 2 minutes, be my guest.
Hey, listen, you've been doing fantastic. Why don't you take a few more, and I know we'll get a break right near the midway point. If it goes a little over, no problem. Hell, I'm a fan, John. I love hearing your calls, so keep up the good work.
No, I appreciate it. I just didn't want to hand it to you when it's hell in a handbasket.
No, you're making this thing make sense for all of us, as there's been tons going on. So keep the train running, and we'll hand it off soon.
All right, so 18 shots to 11 after offensive draw win here for the Flames. And this gets dumped out, and the Flames want a penalty for delay of game. We'll see if they're going to get one.
Boy, that certainly looks like it should be. Every single red glove on the ice goes up into the air, and I think that with very little argument, Nugent Hopkins heading to the box, delay a game. He sends that puck into the crowd from his own end. It was untouched. And so the Flames will get another opportunity on the man advantage.
Yes, it was. Coleman was just getting in the vicinity, and now RNH going to be going to the box for a delayed game. Anderson, Toffoli, Huberdeau, Kadri, and Lindholm on the ice right now for Calgary's second power play of this contest. Anderson tried to keep this one in. I guess they did there with Huberdeau. That was riding the blue line there nicely. And now we have the hand in the air again, and I think this is going against Nazem Kadri. He looked skyward.
Yes, he did. Yeah, you could see him in disgust, kind of shrug his shoulders, throw the gloves up. I'm not entirely sure what the situation is, but do we have another high sticking here, John? He's in the box already.
I think we might. We're going to get a chance to look at this now. I'm looking on the CBC Sportsnet feed, and yeah, you got a hole of Yamamoto.
Yep, and yeah, he's looking to just affect Yamamoto's stick right there, and then it gets up, and Daryl Sutter is furious. He's not too demonstrative on that bench, but you can see it, the steam coming out of the ears now. And actually, it's a hooking call technically, but either way, Kadri in the box neutralizes that power play. It's 4-on-4 for a minute 45.
If anyone wants to send me any Daryl Sutter memes, you can do so at John Ryan. It'd be much appreciated. Back underneath the action right now, 4-on-4 for the next minute 30. We'll see who this ends up favoring right now is Draisaitl. Has it. Back pass to Connor McDavid. Cross pass to Draisaitl. And somehow that stayed back out of the net toward the left side of the bar, I believe. McDavid's got it now. What a series of pirouettes as he's still with it. And now Evan Bouchard. Draisaitl lost it there momentarily. McDavid will collect in between three Flames. You got to look out right now as these guys are putting on a show. McDavid from his knees makes the pass. It's with Draisaitl holding off the backhand. Now gets it back to McDavid as he gets back up. And now Bouchard. Here's a chance now. Kulak fakes the slap shot, still holding in the high slot. Kulak. And now Draisaitl. As he's in the high slot, going to leave it calmly off the backhand for Evan Bouchard. Here's Connor McDavid, number 97, casually to Draisaitl. Draisaitl off the backhand, trying to power his way to the net with a pass, and that goes down the ice. Man, that was dangerous. Icing against the Flames.
Yeah, and they almost had no choice, John. It looked like Edmonton was on a power play right there. They made it look easy, weaving back and forth up near the blue line. And I have to give credit to Chris Tanev, one of the Flames' best defenders, if not the best. An incredible leader. He does what he needs to do, sells out, sprawling in front of Leon Draisaitl, who had Brett Kulak wide open for a clear one-timer opportunity. Tanev neutralized it.
Kane off the backhand, that one wide. This is a chance now for Tyson Barrie. It's still 4-on-4, but it feels like a power play right now for the Oilers. And big save by Markstrom. 11 seconds left to go on the 4-on-4.
Yeah, this is really interesting stuff here, and that's putting it mildly. Just watching the Oilers, it's such a compelling. Basically, I'm going to call it a power play. This is power play movement, although we're on a 4-on-4. And the Flames seem to have built some momentum. Oilers tie this game in a flash right after that Backlund goal. Luckily, Markstrom standing on his head right now. It's still 1-1.
Oilers win the draw again as they're still trying to create some time and space right now. They're having all sorts of puck possession. You feel like the sand in the hourglass is favoring them at the moment. Darnell Nurse, he's powering his way to the right dot, pass ahead, and that goes now toward the left side red line, picked up by Evander Kane, and now Jesse Puljujärvi will get this one. Try to send it out front, one-timer! Oh, that didn't go in! And that went all the way back now for Nazem Kadri. Kadri out of the box now, holding off the backhand, trying to power his way to the net. Lindholm trying to send it across off the backhand, fluttered by Skinner. And now Zadorov tries to get a piece of this now under the left side red line. Zadorov and behind the traffic, bomb shot. And that one goes just wide. But the Flames keep it in the zone. Long shot, gloved and held by Skinner. Cooper, take the call.
John, the last thing I'll say right there is Michael Stone put a 94-mile-per-hour blast right on Skinner right there, and both of these goaltenders have been incredible as we start to see the heat get turned up. Nurse and Zadorov with some words behind the net there in the Oilers' end. My goodness, the Oilers had that brief power play. Huberdeau misses a golden opportunity to knock in the puck to a gaping net, and we're taking it to the commercial break as we make this transition. So for the rest of this contest, you got Cooper Hopkins here on the play-by-play call with John Ott, who's now on color. And I will let you take those color comments right now, John. What's it going to take for these teams to get out ahead of one another? Because there have been so many scoring opportunities, but somehow we're in a low-scoring pitcher's duel, so to speak.
It would take these goaltenders having to give up one of these right now, but it looks like between Markstrom and Skinner, they're not going to oblige to give these up. These goaltenders have been good. I know they've been helping the post, but you got to like what you see from the netminders in this thrilling contest so far.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, in our opening remarks, John, we were talking about Jacob Markstrom looking shaky early in games. He's looked dialed in from early on, and Skinner. We mentioned his goals against average. It was 144 coming into this game. Sitting with the even one right now. He looks like a fantastic piece for this Oilers squad if he can continue this play throughout the season. Anytime Jack Campbell needs a rest, his whole team's going to be confident that Skinner can step in, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, because, I mean, look at it. Even just last season, where the hell has Stuart Skinner been? Can you imagine how the Oilers would feel if they would have had them going into the playoff run?
My gosh, this is the first shot we get as we come back to the Sportsnet feed. These two goalies, it's a showdown. 25 versus 74, 25 in red, 74 in white. And I'm thrilled to be on this play-by-play, John. Thanks for letting me take over. And I do have to mention, this is normally the case for John and I. I'm just a few seconds behind. So if you hear John, try to muffle some words, we know that a big play has happened. But I'll get to it. Stick with us as we're going to get all this action in the remainder of this Battle of Alberta tonight.
Absolutely. Look forward to it, man. This should be fun.
Yes, sir. So the Flames, just to the right of Skinner, will have the face-off. 9:26 to go here. 20 shots for Calgary, 14 for Edmonton. The Flames win the face-off. It's dropped off and shot immediately right there, and that is going to be dumped down for Milan Lucic, who puts a body right onto Tyson Barrie. Excuse me, that's Evan Bouchard down low, and the Edmonton Oilers will skate away with it. 2-on-2 coming down toward Markstrom. On the ice, on defense for the Flames right now are Stone and Zadorov, and it's back near the blue line, held in by Kulak. 9 minutes even to go here. The Flames trying to get out of their own end, and the puck will be bouncing. It looks to be covered by Markstrom, but it's picked up by a teammate and punched out to center ice. Sent across right there by number 14, Devin Shore of the Edmonton Oilers. As they come in, there's a shot saved by the right pad of Jacob Markstrom. He has to answer the call yet again and does so. Milan Lucic tries to take on three Oilers at neutral ice, loses possession, as you might expect. Now coming in 3-on-2, there's a shot that bounces just wide. Markstrom got a piece just enough to keep this game tied as the puck bounced past the right post, and another save is made. He's getting peppered right now, and he holds his hands up in protest. Not sure what's going on there. Maybe we'll get a replay, but either way, Markstrom answering the call multiple times just on this shift. Now Skinner sends out from behind his own net, and the puck is down in the near corner. Draisaitl fighting right there, and that's Andre Mangiapane who puts one on, handcuffs Skinner, and he has to, deep in his own net, hold the puck as Mangiapane answers, and looking to the sky for the Oilers is Warren Fogle. He seemed to be sure of a scoring attempt here. And watch that one bounce just wide. Man, what a sequence, John.
Yeah, and I was trying to see what exactly Markstrom was looking at and what he was so agitated about.
Yeah, could be a mystery. Maybe he was trying to motivate his teammates because he was hung out to dry during that shift. And the Oilers will win the faceoff in their own end here and escape this one out through the flaming sea at center ice. Now it's Leon Draisaitl. He toe drags, but tries to put that one 5-hole. A backhand attempt is unsuccessful by Evander Kane. The puck is loose in the trapezoid behind Markstrom. 7:45 to go here in the second period, and the Flames will skate up. It's Blake Coleman who's having a nice game so far for Calgary. Puts that one on net. It's turned aside neatly and comfortably by Skinner. So here comes the speedy German Leon Draisaitl the other way. It's a 3-on-2. That one is off of the skate of Kyler Yamamoto, former Seattle Thunderbird. And this one's sent up to the half boards. Right there is Michael Backlund, the goal scorer for the Flames. He gets that one out. Now there's a trip at center ice. Don't see any hands going up, though, as Mangiapane is now on the forecheck. That puck is scooted all the way down towards Skinner. So, John, lots of action here as the puck is sent all the way through the neutral zone by Darnell Nurse, but picked up by the Flames. Top line on there for Calgary. Lindholm fires this one. It bounces off of the stick of Skinner, ricochets off the glass, and like a center fielder, he turns around with his back to center ice and grabs that puck out of the air to freeze play. Lots to talk about here, John.
And I think the point that you just made when we go back into that sequence is very astute by you. I think that's exactly what Markstrom was worried about. I'm facing all these shots, guys. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. And we now have Lindholm and McDavid, who's 0-4 on faceoffs until that one. He finally wins one tonight. That's a stat you don't normally see from 97. So he's 1 for 5 in the faceoff circle. And now the puck is on the stick of RNH. He tries to carry in all his own. He will successfully beat Chris Tanev. He gets this puck back to Nurse. Sort of a shot pass there that goes wide into the far corner where Lindholm will put a check on. And now the puck is loose in the faceoff circle to the left of Markstrom. And the Flames carry out. So Tanev tries the 45-degree pass and successfully connects it. As Toffoli will head down where he fights with Nurse in the corner. And several bodies there, including Jonathan Huberdeau for the Flames. McDavid on the ice for the Oilers. It's held in by Calgary. 6:15 to go here in the second. Puck bouncing around down low. And we have a stoppage of play. I think, are we going to get a penalty here against the Oilers or the Flames, John? The puck was blown, the play was blown dead. What are you seeing?
Looks like Darnell Nurse is going to the box, and he doesn't know exactly why.
Yep, I'm seeing the same shot that you are. He seems to be fully confused and hangs his head there for a moment. Tyler Toffoli was streaking through the crease, and it looks like Nurse, I'm not sure if he hooked or cross-checked, but we're getting the replay now.
He's holding the stick of Tyler Toffoli.
Absolutely, I see it in that scrum in the far corner. He does prevent Toffoli from breaking away from that group and gaining possession. So it's going to be another power play opportunity for the Flames. The last one was neutralized by an early Kadri penalty. So only 15 seconds elapsed on the previous power play for the Flames. They're 0 for 2 tonight. And we will see how they can do tonight in their third opportunity. So the puck is held in by Rasmus Andersson. There's a shot attempt by Kadri that he whiffs on. I think that one might have been deflected away by a defender down low. The Flames trying to hold in. They will be able to do so. Huberdeau fires, and this one bounces to the right of Skinner, where it will be picked up by the Oilers and cleared all the way down. 20 seconds now gone in the man advantage, and about 5 minutes and 50 seconds to go here in the second. Rasmus Andersson holds after momentarily having some trouble stick handling with that puck. Coming up through the neutral zone is Lindholm. He'll dump in, and they will chase down. The Flames will. It's held by the Oilers in the far corner, and they will possess and now break out. The Flames have numbers back, though. It is a 2-on-2. Holding are the Oilers, and there's a shot that I think tips off with the glove of Markstrom, and that was Ryan McLeod who got that shot away. Now the Flames come the other way, but Michael Backlund loses possession. Now it's a one-on-one partial break. Dancing right there with the puck is Zach Hyman. And he can't get a shot away, but the Flames, once again, looking out of sorts on the power play. 55 seconds to go here with the advantage as they struggle just to get out of their own end, John. We'll have to talk about that in a few moments. So 15 minutes are gone here in the second. We remain tied at 1. Goal scorers Michael Backlund and Zach Hyman. And breaking in on the left wing there is Dylan Dubé. Mackenzie Weegar coming all the way down from the blue line to try to hold in, but it's grabbed there by Mangiapane on the half board. He steps in. This will pass across is attempted but unsuccessful. This was deflected away and goes back now to Hannafin. Hannafin goes to Mangiapane. He slaps that one, but it's blocked neatly by Derek Ryan down low. And the Flames will hold in the near corner. Holding is Dubé. Dubé tries to stick handle in, loses it promptly. And not the smartest play right there, as coming the other way for Edmonton. And forcing a save from Jacob Markstrom with the blocker is Zach Hyman. So 4 seconds to go here in the power play. We have a whistle, John. The Flames can't seem to get it together with the man advantage.
No, they had a couple turnovers in their own end, which proved costly. And then that Mangiapane ripper, that's a heck of a block there by Niemelainen of the Oilers. That one's going to hurt a little bit as you see him wincing on the bench.
Yeah, thank you for correcting me. That's his Niemelainen. I thought I saw a 1-0. That was an 8-0. The defenseman Marcus Niemelainen. He is being attended to with 4 seconds to go here in the power play. The Flames lose in their own zone, and the power play now has expired. So 4 minutes, 10 seconds to go here in the second. Flames able to possess and come out of their own zone. There's a nice pass deflected in, but up and out of play, last touched by Brett Ritchie. So this faceoff should come just outside the blue line. And at this point, John, it looks like we're going to a commercial break. We have lots to talk about. We can continue to talk about the excellent play of these goaltenders. But let's just give one more look at the power plays. 0 for 3 tonight for the Flames. I'm not sure what it's going to take for them to turn it on with the man advantage, but they've missed some opportunities, have they not?
They definitely missed some opportunities because you can look at the same regard for the Edmonton Oilers. Yeah, I know they scored on one. You can say, well, they missed a lot of crossbars and things like that. At least for the Oilers, they've gotten some chances. But on the Calgary power play, it just seemed like it's non-existent tonight.
Yeah, not what I was expecting to see. The power play has been a strength for the Flames this year. But credit to the Oilers. They have shut the Flames down when necessary. And the Flames have also shot themselves in the foot. That Kadri penalty was the last thing that the Calgary needed when trying to build some momentum. And it seems like, I'm going to steal a phrase that you used the last game that we covered. Does it feel like we're in a contest where the next goal could win this thing?
You know what? I'd be hesitant to say that very much against two teams like these because I just wonder. I would say yes, but I feel like we saw the one moment where there was a spurt of goals in between a shorthand and a power play. I feel like we'll get another one of those in the third. That's my guess.
You know what? I hope you're right. I mean, my prediction. Who doesn't love to be right? You know, John. I'd love to see a little overtime and a 4-3 win for the Flames, but to get the numbers there, we're going to need some more goals to hit the net. And Michael Backlund has looked great. Blake Coleman continues to look good in this game. In the first period, we talked about Milan Lucic. I think he's continuing to have a solid game for the Flames. But as has been the case throughout the season so far, it may be that third or fourth line for Calgary where they are getting some production. Look at those guys to make contributions here as we get closer to the end of the second period and into the third.
Well, it is Halloween, and we're seeing some interesting costumes in the stands, and everybody that's paid a price for these tickets right now is absolutely enjoying what we're seeing.
Absolutely, and it may take a super heroic effort to win this game the way that Markstrom and Skinner are playing. So we do have a face-off just outside of the Oilers' O-zone, and it's won by Trevor Lewis. Flames chasing down low. It's Milan Lucic. He controls in the trapezoid, holds there, being bothered by Nurse right on in front, and scoring is number 24, Brett Ritchie. John, I had the honor of calling his goal, which was the first of the season for Calgary, and at the biggest time when it seemed like the Oilers were taking control. Brett Ritchie and the fourth line for the Flames make it 2-1.
Did you or did you just not say throughout this broadcast, look out for that fourth line? And look who it is again, Brett Ritchie. What a pass by Lucic to beat two defenders, and Ritchie's all over the high slot with a 1T top cheese. Nothing Skinner can do. It's a 2-1 lead for the Flames.
Boy, quite literally, John, a perfect pass from Milan Lucic, who we just mentioned during the break. He beats Kulak and none other than McDavid. And Brett Ritchie from about 6 feet out puts that one up over the shoulder. A perfect shot to make it 2-1 just at the right time for the Flames. And it looked like they were struggling on that man advantage. They go back to 5-on-5, get the lead. And with 3:47 to play, a bouncing puck is covered by Skinner. My gosh, Milan Lucic has found another gear this year. And Brett Ritchie putting pucks in the net for Calgary. Not so bad, huh?
No, it's not. That's exactly the team depth that you need. You talk about all the acquisitions from Bradshaw Living, but if the rest of the team steps up, Calgary looks really, really good.
Yes, indeed. So the faceoff came to Skinner's right, and it's a bit of a scramble there, but ultimately won by Trevor Lewis. But I think that puck went up and into the netting. Or do we have a penalty here, John?
I'm not seeing one just yet, but I will take a look at it when I find it.
Okay, no, yeah, we're getting some great replays right here. Lucic rightfully celebrating after that almost fully blind backhand pass out into the crease. And Ritchie just fired that one in. It's a beautiful goal. And no penalty. We just had the play whistle down to clarify here, and that will be a face-off that's going to be taken by Draisaitl and Lindholm. One cleanly by Lindholm. Huberdeau gets a shot off. It handcuffs Skinner as a rebound, and Lindholm gets a bit of a weak shot on the second attempt there, and Skinner has to cover up once again. So all of a sudden, the ice starting to tilt just a bit toward the home side.
My apologies for not looking so confident the last 10 seconds. The over-under was 6.5. That's what I was looking at right now.
Hey, we'll see. We have plenty of time. Still a little bit to go here in the second as the Flames try to win that faceoff. Unable to do so ultimately. 3.5 now remaining in the second. Here comes Draisaitl, and down that wing is Evander Kane, but the puck is neatly checked away by Rasmus Anderson's stick. Having some trouble controlling near the player benches was Toffoli, but he eventually gets the puck back, only to lose it again immediately. Now this bounces off the skate. Toffoli has it once more, tries to fire that one in, and a bouncer to the left of Skinner is gloved and held. So probably what the Oilers need, just another chance to get a breather here, John, as that Brett Ritchie goal was a beaut. And we have a 2-1 game in the Battle of Alberta.
Yeah, it seems like the pendulum in the hourglass, that's kind of tilting the way toward a Calgary right now, and that's exactly what you want when going into the locker room with 3:10 left.
Yes, indeed. There have been a series of faceoffs near Skinner now. It's exactly what the Flames want. And this one will be taken by Nazem Kadri. Oh, excuse me. Yes, indeed. That is Nazem Kadri. Sorry, I had a little trouble seeing the jersey number. But the Flames lose that draw, and they will look to clear out of their own end as we cross the 3-minute mark here in the second. It's held by Mangiapane. Nice pass between the skates there. Gets it to Nazem, but is dispossessed by guess who? Connor McDavid comes streaking in, and there's a shot off of the shoulder. Beautiful save going left to right and sending that puck shot by RNH up into the netting. It could easily be 2-2 right now, John Ott.
Dare I say, Jacob Markstrom looks the best he's ever looked right now against a team such as Edmonton?
He has struggled against this team before, but my goodness, as you've been seeing it tonight, and Connor McDavid must tip the cap to him. He steals the puck from number 91, one of the top players for Calgary. Beautiful pass across to his teammate. Nugent Hopkins can't finish, though, only because of the skill of Markstrom. Beautiful play.
Absolutely.
So Nugent Hopkins, worth mentioning, he's on a 3-game point streak with 3 goals and 3 assists in those contests. This face-off to the right of Markstrom is won by the home team. The Flames carry out. Trevor Lewis tries to dump down low. It's chased there by Blake Coleman. Again, have to say it, he's continuing to have a nice game tonight. Really a hard worker for the Flames this evening. The Oilers in possession right now, though they will carry in, don't have to dump and chase. But Rasmus Anderson separates the puck from Zach Hyman, and the Flames will chase down in the near corner. That's Noah Hannafin. And if it tried to get to Lewis, and the puck will bounce all the way down, I'm not sure it was touched, we will have an icing call here. So no change for the Flames with 2:14 to go in the second.
Interesting right now, I'm looking at a Nugent Hopkins graphic 5-on-5 between center and wing and getting more chances on the wing side of it. But Nugent Hopkins is a guy that has versatility and can win you a lot of draws. I think when he plays the center, it's probably better for the Oilers.
Yeah, I would agree. I'm used to seeing him at the center position as this faceoff is won just to the right of Markstrom and held in there by Niemelainen. And it's going to bounce all the way out now toward the Flames player bench and into the Oilers end of the ice. 2 minutes exactly to go here. 27 shots for the Flames, 20 for Edmonton. Though Edmonton's hit some crossbars tonight, they've had plenty of chances. It has certainly been a battle tonight, as the saying goes. Now the Oilers hold down low. That one just crosses the face of Jacob Markstrom, barely touching the blue paint. No danger, though. No shot attempts, and the Flames able to clear down. Forechecking there is Kevin Rooney for the Flames. Holding the puck for the Oilers is Niemelainen. He will set up behind Skinner. take his time. This is what we saw in the first period. It looks like the Oilers trying to gather themselves and get a real organized breakout here. Less than 90 seconds to go in the second. The organized breakout does not succeed for Edmonton, and the Flames will take over, dump in. And guess who? Milan Lucic is chasing down low. He's shown some real skill tonight. Gets this one back to Tanev. At the point, deflection attempt is right in front of Skinner, and whacking away is, I think, Brett Ritchie. That is Brett Ritchie, who was down on a knee. It's held in. Great zone time here for the Flames as the shot goes wide to Skinner's right. Tanev comes in from the point. He tries to hold in. He fights against Kane. Kane pushed off the puck momentarily by Brett Ritchie, who's everywhere right now, but the puck will scoot out to neutral ice. With 46 seconds to play here, the Flames will dump and chase. Milan Lucic is still out on his shift. Tries to close down. Brett Ritchie holds. He gets a shot over to Lindholm. A pass, and Lindholm was on the doorstep and is stoned by Skinner. Could be 3-1. 30 seconds to go here. John, I don't know how you held your composure. I bet you thought that was going in. I certainly did. And now with about 20 seconds to play, the puck is sent down past Markstrom, where it will be an icing as Hanifin chases. My goodness, Elias Lindholm, who hasn't had the scoring touch he had last year, was right in front and could have made it 3-1.
That's incredible, Cooper, in the sense of Brett Ritchie. We talked about in the last game that we did. This fourth line is absolutely manhandling the Edmonton Oilers right now.
They certainly are, and I have to give Skinner a lot of credit. Lindholm was right there for the shot, but Skinner in perfect position. Unless Lindholm would have wired one over the shoulder, that was a beautiful stop by Skinner. So the faceoff is one to Skinner's left. Rasmus Anderson fires one on. I think that hits a body just in front. Flames try to hold in, will do so successfully. This one's passed in. Lindholm tries to toe drag, but getting his body in front is Tyson Barrie. Great block right there. And the second period will come to a close. 1-0. 2-1 is your score. 28 shots for the Flames, 20 for the Oilers. Tyson Barrie gets a ton of credit right there. Lindholm on fire these last couple of minutes. And with the toe drag attempt, Tyson Barrie neutralizes it, and we head to the room.
I'll just say it openly here, Cooper. I think Tyson Barrie probably stopped the goal. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Lindholm right there was looking to drag around him, and if he would have stayed on his skates, I think that he would have been wide open with tons of net to look at, and if nothing else, would have had a very clear scoring opportunity, an even better one than the one-timer he had about a minute prior. So yeah, Tyson Barrie selling out the body right there and making a big difference. But the Flames seem to have been picking up the momentum in the last half of this second period. You know, John, maybe they felt the energy shift. Maybe they knew that their lifelong fan Cooper Hopkins was on the play-by-play, and they wanted to give me a chance to make the goal call. And boy, Brett Ritchie made no mistake. That was a really beautiful play from Milan Lucic out of the trapezoid to Ritchie's stick, and he goes up top, as you said, and makes no mistake. What a sequence there.
That was an incredible sequence, and I don't want to sound too ridiculous with this, but you talked about it before we went into our broadcast with the practice, not playing from Tuesday into Saturday. Well, you know what? Sometimes when I think of those practice, I think of the fourth line, the ones that want to go out there and have some grit. And when you think about that in between Rooney, Lucic, and Brett Ritchie in particular, my goodness, these guys have shown out. I'm not saying that anyone on the first line isn't doing damage, but if you want to thank the Flames right now, I think you put a gold star for Jacob Markstrom and you give a star for the whole entire fourth line because they've been terrific.
Yeah, you know, I think that if we were talking about a final score here, 2-1, right? Obviously, we're in our second intermission, 20 minutes to go. This game could change on a dime. We've seen it happen. But I love that you said gold star for Jacob Markstrom because he would, without question, be my first star of this game. Second star of this game, Milan Lucic. Third star for scoring that goal, Brett Ritchie. I mean, the Flames are getting production from their third and fourth line in a way they haven't in a number of seasons. And this is just a team that I think, John, I'd love to hear your thoughts. It's a team that is built, it's been constructed differently. They weren't a one-line team. That's what the Oilers get blamed to be sometimes.
Yes.
With that top line, with featuring McDavid and Draisaitl. The Flames weren't exclusively a one-line team, but they were definitely dependent on the fantastic scoring prowess of those top point getters. We were talking about Matthew Tkachuk, Johnny Gaudreau, Elias Lindholm. Now, Elias Lindholm his season has gone a little differently than it did last year. He's still finding his form. He's had some great opportunities tonight, but didn't find the back of the net. But bottom line, John, do you agree with that assessment? The Flames are just built differently. They're finding new ways to succeed as a more complete team.
I agree, because when you're looking at it, we look at it last season what happened with the Battle of Alberta in the playoffs. Sometimes that ends up happening the way. And first line for the Oilers carried the day, no doubt about it. But if you look all the way through the lineup right now, it seems like everybody's getting acclimated and trying to find ways to score and doing everything that they're supposed to do. And that's what the Flames want to be. They want to be a team that can go ahead and win the Stanley Cup. And the best way that you can do that is by having a team that has complete and a lot more balance. And I think Brad Treliving did his best to do that. I want to mention something that you said with Elias Lindholm. I know it hasn't started the way that he wanted to throughout the season, and it certainly seems like he's getting his feet underneath him. But those last few opportunities, Lindholm was in the right spot and creating some dangerous chances. So he's certainly doing the right things, and I think the points will come.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And, it's got to be heartening and a confidence builder for a player like Elias Lindholm, who was relied upon so heavily. Now, listen, does he want to be able to do the job night in and night out, have a 3-point night every single game that he plays? Of course, that's any player who has a real knack for goal scoring and playmaking. Sure, that's going to be at the front of your mind. But it's got to be a confidence builder when you see your teammates lifting you up. There's not an expectation that, oh, hey, Jonathan Huberdeau, please do it all. Elias Lindholm, please do it all. Nazem Kadri, please do it all. Though he certainly has, off the score sheet tonight, but plenty of time. But I just think it's wonderful to see a team come together and gel this early and have the success they're having when not every single player is firing on all cylinders yet.
I agree. And in the sense of when we look at the previous matchups in between these two teams, it felt more like an exhibition, did it not? And now we get a chance to see like what a real hockey game should look like. And the Flames are taking it to the Oilers right now in courtesy of those bottom lines. And look at it. I'm looking at the replay right now between Lucic and Ritchie. Ritchie, yes, he got in a great spot in the slot, but what an incredible pass there by Lucic, being boarded by two Oilers. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think when they watch that tape, they're gonna celebrate again, because that was a beautiful play. You get your crowd back into it. It's a huge rivalry contest, and we said this in our other broadcast, John. 2 points early in the season are just as valuable as 2 points late in the season. No team wants to be chasing a playoff spot. These are two teams that we believe will be in the playoffs yet again. And in particular, I think the Flames now have some additional expectations on them. And to come out and not even 10 games into the year yet look this solid, I think it bodes really well, don't you?
Yeah, it's not something when you and I first talked about all the new additions, we were kind of a little bit worried in terms of how much time it would take to gel. Look, we understand that the Alberta province stand of the 10 straight games, yes, that's going to benefit Calgary, but to your same point, Cooper, we talked about it. We're going to talk about a little bit in this intermission now. What's it going to look like for Calgary when they head back on the road?
Yeah. Thank you for keeping that in the back of your mind. It's going to be interesting. I think in a lot of ways, and I've heard this before from multiple players being interviewed from multiple teams, I think in a lot of ways players actually enjoy the road trips. There's a different sense of camaraderie there. You're traveling together. You're on the plane together. You're not going back to your own condo or home or whatever every single night. And you're out for team dinners. I think if things are to work out for the Flames when they hit the road eventually, several games from now, hopefully those elements will come into play as well. Because what we've seen on the ice, what we were just talking about, should also translate to those moments when the Flames are not on the ice. I think that's what every team hopes for, to be able to gel on and off the ice and build a true sense of, like, just using the term groupthink is coming to mind, where you're almost working as one. And that's all I can hope for as a fan. John, do you think that is a real thing, or are you expecting more? Do you want to see more X's and O's on the road and have a game plan, stick to it? Obviously, that'll be in play. Just curious your thoughts. Do you want to have a team focus more on those off ice elements, or do you just want to see the execution on ice?
In the perfect world, you want a little bit of both, but again, it's an adjustment here. And we look at the upcoming schedule. It's going to be 3 more home games for the Flames before they go back on the road. So it's going to be a Tuesday contest with the Kraken. So again, you get to find out where your allegiances are going to be there, Cooper, in Seattle or with your Calgary Flames team. So that should be fun to watch. But I already know the answer to that. I'm just teasing you. So on the Monday side, next week is when they start with the Islanders and the Devils on a back-to-back before they start with the Bruins on Thursday. Thursday, November 10th against the Bruins. That might be a matinee game that we have to circle.
I think so. There's no question about it. Even if the Bruins were to lose every single game they have until that matchup with the Flames, they would still be one of the best teams with one of the best records in hockey. If the Flames are able to hold on tonight, then they are going to continue working their way into the conversation as one of the best teams in hockey. I know you and I both read many sources, John, thinking about power rankings, and obviously those are all very subjective. But pretty much across the board, the Flames are in the top 5, sometimes the top 3 in those lists. And I think rightfully so. And the Bruins have put themselves almost, again, across the board at the very top spot. So, you can never look past teams like the Islanders or the Devils. And the Kraken right now are leading the Penguins 2-1 at their second intermission. So, of course, the Flames will focus on those games. But that Bruins game, I think you and I are definitely going to have to make some time to call that one if we can.
Yeah, I need to make a quick note just in particular because, again, we know Calgary Flames resident expert there, Cooper Hopkins. I have to talk about my team here for a second, if you don't mind, in terms of the Detroit Red Wings. I watched a couple days ago against the Boston Bruins. They flat out got embarrassed in the Red Wings. Brad Marchand came back from surgery a month and a half early, and he's penciled in the lineup against the Red Wings. And I go, oh boy. And everyone else around here is like, what do you mean? He's just coming back. Well, Marchand looked pretty good with a couple power play goals, and then David Pastrnak added 2 more. So, yeah, they're 8-1 for a reason, folks. Let's not think the Boston Bruins are a little bit too old. I remember doing one of my previous Colorcast broadcasts, and I won't name names. One of the Boston fans said, this team is too old. They're bringing the band back together. And I'm like, God, they had 110 points last year and lost to the Carolina Hurricanes in the playoffs. So let's pump the brakes on not thinking the Bruins aren't a powerhouse. They still strike fear in the hearts of many.
Yeah, they certainly do. And John, to be completely honest, I thought you were trying to help me save face because in one of our discussions about teams that may miss the playoffs after making them last year.
And I wasn't even talking about you. No.
Well, I will throw myself under the bus, which is only the right thing to do because of how fantastic the Bruins have been early in this year. I thought, not with a lot of conviction, I will couch it by saying that, but I did think that there was a chance we might not see the Bruins have the level of success they did last year. Turned out I was right, except they're better.
That's what's happening right now. And again, it goes to everyone else that said, and I agree with you, and I still agree. It could end up happening in the sense of, look, Marchand came back a month and a half early. Again, I have to repeat that. There's still no Charlie McAvoy, who many consider to be one of the best defenders in the league. And David Krejci, since spending the year overseas, don't forget he's 35. He's not supposed to be able to do all this. And yet this team still plays well. And you know what scares me? Because again, it's not until Thursday, November 10th that the Flames play the Bruins. Don't the Bruins feel like they play most Bruins like? And what I mean is they know what their identities are. They play toward their team strengths better than anyone else. Because when you're led by Patrice Bergeron, Pastrnak, and Brad Marchand, they've been there for a long time. They know what to do, and they know how to get it done.
Well, they absolutely do, and those are 3 names that are almost always, if not, you could take the almost away. They're effectively always in conversations for multiple end-of-year trophies. They are players that earn hardware as individuals, but also, and this is to what we were just talking about, what the Flames are hoping for as a team. They seem to be moving toward, but are still hoping for, and fans are hoping to see more of, is a team mindset, a team strategy, and team belief. That certainly has not changed at all for the Bruins. It's apparently only gotten stronger as they are just a goal or two away from basically being undefeated right now if things had bounced the other way for them in their loss. But yeah, John, you made a great point. They look special. They're starting off in a really fantastic fashion, and a team that we will hopefully be doing a broadcast of when the Flames meet them on November 10th.
Yeah, and hopefully their broadcast side of Nesson. Let me just say this openly so we can laugh about it. I know I'll never be working for them, but I got to hear them call Lucas Raymond Mason Raymond the entire game, and that made me very angry.
Mason Raymond, boy, if I'm not mistaken, you're taking me back a few years. I think former Flame, former Canuck. Am I correct?
Yes, you are.
Yeah, Mason Raymond spent most of his time in the Pacific Division, guys. What are we doing over there? Come on, Nesson.
Exactly. So I was happy on this regard, and the Red Wings were able to get a little bit of a bounce back then. Again, I mentioned Lucas Raymond for a reason. He got his first 2 tallies of the season as the Red Wings were able to get a big win over the Wild, 2-1. And the Wild actually got some decent goaltending, and they still lost. They're 3-4-1 on the season, and Kirill Kaprizov scored the lone goal for the Wild. So 3-4-1. Maybe not time to completely panic yet, but I would imagine in a game like that where you only give up 2 goals, the Wild were expecting a little bit better.
Yeah, and you know what? Not just because of the very similar records, I think we have to say there's similarity probably not only in the play by the team on the ice, but in how the fan base is feeling when we look at the Leafs. We talked about the Leafs during the first intermission. Now here we are talking about the Wild. I think they are, I think we can say we know they're not getting what they were expecting to get at this point in the year. We are exiting the month of October. We're heading to November, and we're really in full stride at this point. The Wild haven't really found their stride yet, have they?
No, they have not. And here's another surprising result right now. Not so surprising. We'll get to this one. So it was a 4-3 overtime win for the Hurricanes over the Flyers. Both teams are 5-2-1, so the Flyers still holding pretty strong. But here's the surprising result: the Blues drop another game. They're 3-4 on the season. The Canadiens put 7 on the St. Louis Blues. Let me check at that box score for a second. So now, looking at this side, oh my goodness, Nick Suzuki's got 4. Cole Caulfield, Cooper Hopkins has 6 on the season. And it keeps growing. He scored his 7th on the power play at 15:46, and then Christian Dvorak made it a 6-3 contest. Christian Dvorak got a natural hat trick. So, yeah, 7 goals for Cole Caulfield and a 7-4 win for the Canadiens over the Blues. My goodness.
I mean, listen, they're above 500 now at 5-4. Who knows? Maybe we're going to see another miracle run to the Stanley Cup Finals like they had a couple seasons back.
I know it's early in the year, but again, I know this was a while ago with Martin St. Louis. I think that having him back there behind the players' bench is kind of shaking up some things. They seem to be playing above their heads above water.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the coach's mentality, this is what Daryl Sutter talks about when he talks about the leaders on his team. Basically, he has a group of captains, and those captains, some of which aren't even technically wearing the letter A on their chest, as again, the Flames currently do not have an official team captain. But when Daryl talks about his captain group, he's talking about players on the Flames that have won the Stanley Cup. And the reason why I mention that, guess who? The Flames would have won a Stanley Cup in 2004 if not for the play of Martin St. Louis, who ultimately got revenge against his former team. He spent several years with the Flames in the 90s and into the early 2000s. And as a Stanley Cup champion, clearly is imparting that mentality and that belief into a Canadiens team, which is largely expect to underachieve this year.
Yes, and then the one thing that you can say in between Nick Suzuki and Cole Caulfield, Vegas would certainly like to have Nick Suzuki right now, although I know with all the trades it's been a while. But still, you got to think about the pieces that could still be there. And then the only other score that's live right now that we can talk about at the end of 2 periods. How about the Seattle Kraken? They got a 2-1 lead over the Pittsburgh Penguins as Jake Getzel returning to the lineup, gets his 4th. Jordan Eberle gets his 1st of the season. Matty Beniers gets 4 dimes, and Morgan Geekie with his 2nd. 2-1 lead for the Kraken.
Yeah, as of course we were laughing a few minutes ago, we will be Calgary, Calgary, Calgary from here until I'm no longer breathing air, as my dad would say. But when it comes to the Kraken, you know what? As a native Seattleite, I'm proud to see that they are making some progress this year, and honestly could have an even better record than they do right now if they would have held on against the Blackhawks, for example, several games prior, where they ultimately were ahead but lost 5-4 in that contest about a week ago now. But they are looking better. I like their goal scoring continuing, and they seem to be testing out the potential of Martin Jones getting a lot more playing time in net for them. What do you think about that, John?
Yeah, it's definitely been a revelation. I know you're going to get close to puck drop here, so we'll get you settled.
Yes, indeed. So we'll see how these goaltenders continue to play. They've both been lights out. We're talking about Markstrom and Skinner for the Flames and Oilers, respectively, as we are now underway here in the third period. 10 seconds have gone. The Flames holding with that fresh sheet of ice. And there is a left-handed shot by Coleman, which goes wide of Skinner's glove. It's held down low by Backlund. He tries to knock this one around to the far corner, and it looks to be picked up there by a streaking Huberdeau, I believe, but the puck bounces away, and it's a 2-on-2 the other direction for Edmonton. Leaving there is McDavid. He tries to find Hyman. Hyman has it in the far corner, and the puck bounces out to the Flames, but they can't hold on, and it's taken right there in neutral ice by Cody Ceci. He turns it over promptly, though, and Uyghur gives it over to Tanev. Tanev goes up the wall. It's held by Toffoli. He goes cross ice, and now the Flames will break out. Oilers have numbers back. They will dump and chase. And Ceci leaves. It's picked up there by Darnell Nurse. Nurse carries out, looks for the stretch pass. It's off of a stick blade. Huberdeau tried to possess it neutral ice and sends it back to Michael Stone. Michael Stone wearing 26 for the Flames with 1 minute and 15 seconds gone here in the third. He gets it over on near the penalty boxes, I should say, to Huberdeau. Mangiapane chases down to the trapezoid behind Skinner. He fights there with Niemelainen, and it goes right out in front, and that shot goes wide on the glove side. Diving once again was Barry, who had a block near the end of the second period on a perfect shot, an excellent shot attempt by Lindholm. Now Mangiapane is throwing the body around in the near corner. He actually knocked somebody down, couldn't get the number there, but he put an Oiler down to the ice. And we will have an icing there by Edmonton. So a face-off coming back in the right end for Calgary. They're moving right to left on your radio dial in this third, left to right for the Oilers. John, how about Mangiapane putting a body on there?
He was looking like a bull in a china shop. I love the impression.
Yes, indeed. Don't see that too much from the relatively diminutive number 88 for Calgary, but he's picked up his game this year. That second line for the Flames, centered by Kadri, is looking solid. But right now we have, I believe that is Trevor Lewis. No, excuse me, make that Kevin Rooney centering the fourth line for the Flames, who have already made a huge impact in this game. That Lucic to Brett Ritchie goal is the reason we're at 2-1 right now with the Flames in the lead. So Uyghur chasing down in the corner to the left of Markstrom. The Flames will chip this one out, and it's picked up near the flames of the C logo at the Scotiabank Saddledome. 29 shots for the Flames, 20 for the Oilers as the Oilers come sliding in here, and the puck is sort of just left near the faceoff dot to the right of Markstrom, who stays at the ready in the blue paint. This one backhanded away and out of the zone by the Flames, who will go for a change. Coming up the ice now for the Oilers is Brett Kulak, the former Flame defenseman. Will carry this one through neutral ice, and the cross ice pass is deflected off of a Flame stick blade. And with 17 minutes and 27 seconds to go in the third, play is whistled down. John, anything standing out for you here early in this third period?
Not so far just yet. It feels like more of the tentative start that we saw in the first period.
Yeah, I find that very interesting. I agree with you there. The Flames aren't coming out flying necessarily. I wonder if they're maybe protecting this lead a little too early. We'll see as we continue here. The Oilers have won the faceoff. The puck bounces through the trapezoid, played briefly by Markstrom. And now on the puck is Blake Coleman. He tries to get that pass through his own end. Can't do so. Fighting for the puck at the far half boards are the Oilers, but it's going to be picked up by Elias Lindholm. He gets pushed off the puck, though. Oilers doing a great job on the forecheck right now. Backlund fighting for it. And now the Flames will skate away. There's a centering pass, but it is off of the stick of Dylan Dubé and sent around by Darnell Nurse. Now it's held into the point by Calgary. sent down low, picked up by Blake Coleman. He's up in the corner against Darnell Nurse, and the puck exits the zone, sent all the way down. We may have another icing here, and yes, indeed, we do. So no change for Edmonton, and the Flames will have another offensive zone faceoff coming up.
Yeah, again, we've seen the replays here of Connor McDavid. I think the Flames have done a good job trying to bottle up those top lines. Again, that's what the 2-1 scoreline would tell you. But again, if you're just watching the box score side, it's been a lot of missed posts and a lot of crazy action.
Absolutely. It seems like so long ago that we were hitting crossbars basically nonstop. As there's a pass through the blue paint that can't find Huberdeau, and Weegar tries to send it back down low. The puck is loose momentarily. Tyler Toffoli was having a nice game for the Flames here, not on the score sheet, but just moving those skates, getting in the right place at the right time. He's able to hold in momentarily. It does go back to neutral ice, but now he's got the puck again. The play is whistled down, I believe, offside by the Flames. We take a look at this replay here, John. Huberdeau was right on the doorstep. You think he should have scored there?
Oh, man, he just couldn't get the stick on the ice there. He had an easy one, I think.
Yep, he's been around it tonight, but has not been able to find the back of the net. I think he's still settling in his new role with the Flames. But luckily, Calgary, if you're rooting for the boys in red, they do have the lead right now, 2-1. 4 minutes have gone here in the third period. Down low, showing again some nice physicality. Andrew Mangiapane, he was up against Brett Kulak. I get those 25 and 27 numbers confused from time to time. The Oilers carry in here. There's a shot through traffic. I think that was just wide of Markstrom to his left. And that puck goes loose in the crease. It bounces up into the air and snagged by number 25. The netminder makes a nice play for Calgary right there and stops play.
Well, I'm glad for Markstrom that he saw that one, because Cooper, I'll be honest with you, I didn't see it.
Boy, I had some trouble with that as well. I saw just a bouncy puck through some traffic. It popped up into the air. Markstrom had his eyes on it and snagged it in the trapper. We can see here in the replay, just briefly, it looks like the puck was a centering attempt, went off of Rasmus Anderson's back skate. But we're underway once again here. And skating in and just shooting wide. I couldn't get a number there, John. Maybe you can help me out. But a great shot by the Oilers. I think we had, that was Evan Bouchard potentially stepping in from his defensive spot there. As Hanifin tries to center, puck is loose but taken by the Oilers. Thanks for confirming on that last shot. Nice effort by Bouchard, but I believe he sent it just wide. No official shot on the board. Now the Oilers hold in at the right point. It's through bodies sent in there, and the Flames try to clear, can't do so. Holding the puck momentarily at the top of the zone was Tyson Barrie. Now it's down low in the near corner. Nice check there by Hanifin. Flames able to come away with it, and they will try to gently clear. Can't do so. It's held in. And out in front is Evander Kane. He was looking for a bouncing puck, but very quickly bouncing on the puck. Guess who? Jacob Markstrom. Looking solid again through 5 minutes or so in this third period.
Absolutely, no doubt about that. You can think of it as a simple clear off a bounce off of one of the Flames, but that was a much-needed stoppage there and a breather there for Flames netminder Jacob Markstrom.
Absolutely. He asked earlier, after getting peppered with shots, he needed the players in front of him, his teammates, to step up. They have, by and large, but Markstrom's seen a lot more action here in the first 5 minutes of the third. And once again, he'll have to be on his toes as the Flames lost the faceoff, but are able to clear the zone. So the Oilers holding their own end, but the puck right now is Tyson Barrie. This puck's going to go all the way down, played out in front of the net by Markstrom. A tad dangerous there. But Lucic is on the ice now. He has the puck and sends it down low. It's being chased down by Brett Ritchie, who, if things end up this way, will be the game-winning goal scorer. Flames can't hold in the offensive zone. It's carried out, partial 3-on-2 here for the Oilers. It's held in at the far boards now, on the crease, all alone with the shot. Markstrom down, multiple Flames down. Again, I apologize. Couldn't get a number on that shooter. John, be my second set of eyes if you can. But right in the crease for the Oilers, and I'm not even sure if that shot made it to Markstrom. Either way, it stays 2-1. And there's a shot on goal by, I think, Noah Hanifin. Now Lucic, who was sliding backwards, fires one into the Oilers logo of Skinner. Boy, it could be 3-2 right now, but it remains 2-1.
So there's a chance for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, and it was just blocked aside everywhere by the Flames and never even hit Jacob Markstrom. And then Lucic trying to pick cherries against Stuart Skinner. Fourth line continuing to make an imprint in this game.
Yes, they certainly are, and good call. Thank you for pointing out RNH had that beautiful scoring opportunity right in the crease for the Oilers. 31 shots now for the Flames, 22 for Edmonton. 6 minutes have gone here in the third, and the Oilers streak into the offensive zone. There's a shot. It's bouncing around. Markstrom couldn't find it. I think he made the save, and it may have bounced off the post again. Huberdeau comes the other way. He stick handles and fires. It's off the glove of Skinner. Not the hardest shot in the world, but really well placed, and Skinner had to respond. And now this one's deflected right on, and closing the 5-hole is Skinner. Another great attempt for the Flames, and here come the Oilers the other way. Battle of Alberta heating up. This one down low. The pass was not successful to Cody Ceci, but the Oilers will hold it in. It's backhanded by Puljujarvi, a name we haven't said too often tonight. Markstrom can't find the puck, though. It's bouncing around. I think he thought it was on top of the cage. Held in right there, fake slapper. Stepping in is Bouchard. He had a scoring attempt earlier, tries to go short side. And that one is, I think, behind the net. May have bounced off of Markstrom. He tries to carry back up front, does Bouchard. A lot of work from this defender on this shift and in this period. Barely holds in. The puck almost went across the blue line. The Flames, with nice draw weights, as Derek Wills, play-by-play man for the Flames, would say, send this one back to the Oilers zone. So tons of action right there, John. I can't wait to get your thoughts on that when we have a stoppage. 12 minutes and 45 seconds to go here in the third. Back and forth action. And the Oilers carry in, but a nice stick right there. Back checking was Andrew Mangiapane, making a nice play. The Flames get it out. Skinner has it on his oversized stick blade, and he sends out. And this one's going to be off to the right. Looking for the pass there was Kyler Yamamoto, but he whiffed on that shot pass, and it's taken out in front. Pushed out by Chris Tanev of the Flames. Dylan Dubé on his backhand tries to get that one across, but it is taken over by Edmonton, though given away immediately. And carrying in now is Dubé from a sharp angle. Tries to go backhand, forehand. Looking behind him is Skinner, but the puck bounced behind the net and not in the goal. It could have been 3-1 there. Dubé thought he scored. 12 minutes to go in the third. Flames buzzing a bit, but can't sustain it. The Oilers now have possession. So the Oilers send this one through neutral ice. This one trickles into the ozone, and holding there at the far half boards is Dylan Holloway. This one held into the blue line. Oilers keep possession. The puck is through the trapezoid and into the near corner. Backlund able to knock that one out. The Flames try to carry out, but rubbed off the puck there is Trevor Lewis. And the Flames give up possession. It's now behind Skinner. And here come the Oilers on a breakout. Holding the puck right now is Devin Shore. First time I've said his name this evening. And Devin Shore basically going end to end. He's got it in the far corner, but Michael Stone tries to poke this one along, and the Flames are able to get it out of their own zone. Now a 2-on-2 with the puck is Trevor Lewis. Make that Kevin Rooney. That puck deflected and picked up in the trapezoid by Milan Lucic. Milan Lucic being bodied there by Derek Ryan, former Flame, and the Oilers are able to carry out. They will send this one in. Markstrom tries to corral, but can't do so. 9 minutes have gone, and it's in! Unbelievably, Markstrom has to be swearing behind his mask right there as I'm stunned, John. This game is tied. Connor McDavid picks up a puck that Markstrom is not able to corral, and he fires it into the back of the net, 2-2.
That is just how quickly it goes. So Markstrom in behind the goal crease, and then he couldn't get back in time, and McDavid is as easy as you like, maybe through the 5-hole side. And I know what they say on the Steve Dangle side for Leafs radio, if you're a goaltender, tend the goal. And that's what happened. McDavid scores it. It's tied.
Boy, just a Mike Smith-esque play right there, as Markstrom was unable to corral the puck behind his own net. He could not get the right pad down on the ice in time, and I believe that one snuck under the leg to make it 2-2 on Edmonton's 24th shot of the night. But now Toffoli has the puck, and he tries to cycle this one back in the far corner of the Flames with possession, but it's deflected away by the Oilers, and they will carry out through neutral ice. Although this one is chipped up and held by the Flames momentarily, just long enough to clear back down to the Oilers' end. So unbelievably, unexpectedly, a tie game right here, and leave it to Connor McDavid to do the work when it needs to be done. Now with the shot from the the left face-off circle are the Oilers. That one goes well wide. That was Hyman with the 83-mile-per-hour snapshot. And now coming in, right in, is McDavid. McDavid dragging, has Markstrom down. The puck was out in front, and it's on the stick blade of Weegar. My gosh, Markstrom was down. Connor McDavid made it look like he was using that right joystick on a video game controller. He could have made it 3-2 Oilers, but it remains tied at 2. So here comes again. They try a shot on, but it doesn't get through a sea of Flames' legs. And McLeod will get the credit for the shot attempt there, but it never made it to Markstrom. 9:45 to go here in the third. Puck's at neutral ice near the players' benches. And carrying in right there is number 37, Warren Fogle for the Edmonton Oilers. Bounces down the other end now. Chasing is Trevor Lewis. He's forechecking, but can't gain possession. It's taken there by Fogle again. Make that Ryan McLeod. But the Oilers lose possession in the Flames' end, and here comes Backlund the other way. Puck is now deflected up and into the players' bench. My goodness, John, I'm going to take a deep breath. I think we all need to. I can't believe this game's tied at 2.
I can't either. I know it's been play that's been going both ways here and there, but it certainly seems like Calgary needs to regroup a little bit. I'm going to take a break. I'll be back in 1 minute.
Yes, sir. For the folks listening, thanks for sticking with us tonight. Again, unbelievably, Connor McDavid takes a puck that rattled around behind Markstrom's cage in the Flames' end. Had Markstrom been able to corral that puck, there would be no danger, but McDavid comes streaking in off of the players' bench and at the half wall just fires one on and is able to sneak it under Markstrom's right pad. So we are tied at 2, and we'll give you a quick recap of the scoring here. So in the first period, your first goal scorer, opening scoring tonight for Calgary, Michael Backlund at 4:29. That was a shorthanded goal assisted by Elias Lindholm. A beautiful play. It was basically a full breakaway for Backlund. He goes under the left arm of Skinner to make it 1-0. But then not even 1 minute later, Zach Hyman, an unassisted power play goal. Correction, those have been corrected here. Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid get credits for the primary and secondary assists, respectively. There was Zach Hyman looking for a pass, trying to get it to Draisaitl, but it went off of a diving Noah Hannafin stick. That tied the game at 1. Then in the second period, Brett Ritchie, his third of the season at 16:06, assists from Trevor Lewis and Milan Lucic. Lucic with a beautiful back pass from behind the net. Brett Ritchie one-times it in to make it 2-1. But now here in the third period, his 9th of the year, Connor McDavid, 9 minutes and 2 seconds into the third, assist from Holloway and Ceci, as that puck was never touched by Markstrom. It is a 2-2 hockey game. So really surprising events here, but it is the Battle of Alberta. You have to expect all sorts of shenanigans, and we have gotten a lot. No gloves dropped, but we have had a bit of intensity. These teams are provincial rivals, and with John Ott back, we are about to get underway once again as Michael Backlund is waved out of the face-off dot, away from the face-off dot. So this face-off will be taken by Dylan Dubé, and it is won by the Oilers. So near the penalty boxes, Noah Hannafin fights for the puck. He is there with Trevor Lewis, and Hannafin comes away with it. Hannafin holds in his own end, tries for the 45-degree angled pass that's deflected off of an Oilers stick, but Backlund is able to collect and send it into the Oilers' end. In the near corner now is Hannafin. Hannafin fights for it, picked up by Backlund. Backlund trying to find someone on the doorstep there. I think that might have been Trevor Lewis, or no, yes, it is Trevor Lewis. But the pass did not connect, and the Oilers now pick up in their own zone. 8 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the third period, and the play is whistled down for icing. The faceoff will come back to the Oilers' end. John, some frantic action there, a bit of a messy shift for that Flames line, but we got ourselves a tie game. I'm so flustered.
We do. It certainly feels like, Cooper, you might be calling back-to-back overtime games in back-to-back broadcasts.
Well, all we need is one more goal apiece by these teams in regulation, and then we'll have the Flames win in overtime, and I will be the Swami of the evening. I will be the prognosticator, my friend, as the faceoff is lost by the Flames, but they're able to hold in their own end until it's taken there by Leon Draisaitl. Just over 8 minutes to go here in the third, and the puck trickles down once again. The stretch pass unsuccessful by the Oilers, so another offensive zone draw coming up for Calgary.
Jonathan Huberdeau being a little physical there with Kaori Yamamoto. Love to see it.
Yes, indeed. I think some frustration potentially showing for the Flames' star player. Not able to get on the score sheet tonight, though he's been on the doorstep a couple of times. Face-off coming to the right of Skinner. Going to be taken by Draisaitl and Kadri. Kadri has struggled a bit in the faceoff circle tonight, though I believe technically he won that draw. It's held by Mangiapane. Gets it back to the point there. Uyghur sends it down low. That right shot pass is going to be down now in the far corner. 12 minutes have gone here in the third period. Here come the Oilers with a partial 3-on-2. There's Kane looking for the back pass. Do we have an offside call? Play has been whistled dead.
That is the sigh of relief there for the Calgary Flames fans when you have Vander Kane and Leon Draisaitl leading a 3-on-2 going offsides.
Yes, indeed. So, John, I'm gonna throw it to you here. You know what we haven't done is gone through the full slate of games in the NHL tonight. Maybe we can give a quick a recap. There are a couple games still underway. Only this one and the Kraken versus the Penguins in Seattle. Maybe we can give some final scores and catch up the listeners.
Yeah, so for everybody listening here, it's very important. The Dallas Stars, Jake Ottinger left with a lower body injury. We did not get any confirmation as far as how long he's going to be out. The Rangers will pick up a big 6-3 victory, improve to 4-3-2 on the season. Panthers beat the Senators, and the Battle of the Tkachuks. It was Matthew Tkachuk that won 5-3. Lightning hold off the Sharks 4-3. The Sabres win again. They're 5-3 on the season. The Blackhawks fall to 4-3-1, losing overtime 4-3. The Los Angeles Kings get back to 500 as they top the Maple Leafs 4-2. What's going on over there? And the Hurricanes and Flyers. Flyers get a point as the Hurricanes win an OT 4-3. A big win for the Montreal Canadiens over the St. Louis Blues 7-4. The Islanders take down the Avalanche 5-4 at home. And the Capitals shut out the Nashville Predators. If you're talking about a team that's hitting the early panic button, Cooper, we didn't mention them. 3-5-1 on the season for a team that many thought could at least sneak into the wild card in the 3-0 loss to the Caps.
Yep, you make a great point about the Preds. We had not mentioned them tonight, but you have to. That's not a record they were hoping for at this point. But what we are hoping for those of us who are Flames fans, is a victory tonight for the home team. That would take the Flames to 6-1-0 on the season. The Oilers came into this game 5-3-0, so they're looking to get to 6 wins as well, as action will be getting underway momentarily. We got a nice Sportsnet replay here of Evander Kane looking to feed his teammate on a blind backhanded pass, but it was unsuccessful. The play was offside, and that faceoff is won by Michael Backlund. Fighting for the puck there is Blake Coleman. He gets it back to Backlund right away. Backlund fires it right on. The puck is loose in front. Bodies go down in front of Skinner. Skinner made a nice stop with a left pad there. And the Flames now up to 37 shots to Edmonton's 24. But we're tied at 2. The Flames leave it out in front, and they couldn't have done a worse thing at a worse time, John. Just when they had a scoring opportunity, the puck bounces out in front of Markstrom, and no one's there to clean it up except for Zach Hyman. It is now 3-2 Edmonton Oilers.
That is absolutely what you cannot do if you're the Calgary Flames. A Cardinal sin turnover right in front of Markstrom. Yes, he might want to have one back there when he played the puck and McDavid scored, but there you go. That is a brutal turnover that went against the Flames, and Zach Hyman makes them pay.
Boy, just an ugly play right there. You hadn't really seen a play like that all night, and Hyman actually didn't get his stick on it. That goes off of the toe of his skate. So a bit of bad luck and then a bit more bad luck as that puck was left right out in front, and the cross pass goes off the skate and in. It's now 3-2, and the Flames are chasing it for the first time in this game with under 7:30 to play. So coming in now is Lindholm. He leaves this one for Toffoli. Toffoli drags and tries to send it out in front, does so, and the puck is underneath Skinner. They're jamming away. There's Huberdeau. Lindholm's in the pile, and the play is whistled down. Boy, the Flames with a couple of great opportunities bookending that goal by Hyman. Could be tied right now, John, but Skinner somehow stones them.
If the Oilers come out and win this game, I think the first guy that they're going to thank in that pile is Stuart Skinner. He's been terrific.
He certainly has. Boy, what a nice play there by Tyler Toffoli. You don't always think of him as the most overly skilled. I mean, he obviously knows he has a nose for the net. And there's Huberdeau being stopped again by the left pad of Skinner. Now the Flames win this offensive zone draw. The puck goes over to Hanifin. He fires. That one goes just wide. Stretching out in full was Skinner, flashing the leather. And now a pass attempt is errant and into the far corner, picked up by Toffoli. He passes out in front, and the puck bounces onto Skinner's stick. I think he had to make the save there. Lindholm was waiting, and Flames with some extended zone time now. Hannafin holds it in, cycles this one around down low. 6:45 to go. Puck is taken by Rasmus Andersson. He goes down to his knees, though, and here come the Oilers 2-on-2. They hold now. It's a 2-on-1. The pass across is taken but broken up. Yamamoto almost able to get one away. A very high danger opportunity there, but no shots. So with 6:30 to play here, the Flames hold in their own end. The puck is held and taken by Zadorov. Zadorov goes almost all the way. Here comes Milan Lucic. He will circle back at the half boards. Still holds possession. Gets it out in front to guess who? Brett Ritchie. Brett Ritchie couldn't get a clean shot, though, but the Flames are able to hold at the right point. Zadorov decides to take shots deflected, and that one is off of Skinner's shoulder, I believe, and into the near corner. 6 minutes to go. 3-2 Edmonton after a fluke Hyman goal. Lucic down in the corner. He's fighting with Ryan McLeod. That battle continues to the near half boards. Now inside, 6 minutes to play in regulation. The puck's to the trapezoid. It's getting gotten by Trevor Lewis, and there's a big slap shot attempt that is off of a skate and back to neutral ice. It's loose to neutral ice there. Bouchard had it momentarily, but the puck will flutter all the way back down to Markstrom. He is able to handle that one with his stick, and the pass out from behind the trapezoid goes to Kadri. Kadri now will carry in and gives it up to Dubé, but I believe Dubé was just a stride offside, so plays whistled down.
It's one of those situations, Cooper, right now that Calgary is, I know I said it throughout this third period, they got to find a couple careless mistakes right now as we have the commercial break, and that's why the Oilers have a 3-2 lead.
Yes, indeed. As we go to the commercial break, we see a replay from the Sportsnet feed. It's a little bit of everything being done by Lucic and Ritchie tonight. They were getting into it, getting a little physical near the players' benches with McLeod. So I think that's what it's going to take. The Flames are going to have to jumpstart themselves here because they really shot themselves in the foot, unfortunately, to leave the Oilers open out in front, and Hyman gets credited with that goal. So 2 for him tonight. And the Flames still have some time to work with, but the clock is ticking loudly, is it not, my friend?
It definitely is. And it's one of those situations where you were saying whether or not it's going to be next goal wins, and you thought about it. You might be Swami, but it's going to be 2 goals that are needed here for the Calgary Flames against a ticking clock. And it doesn't seem like it's going to happen right now unless there's going to be another fortuitous bounce or unless they can get something past Skinner, who's been really good in this contest for the Oilers.
He has been absolutely lights out for the Oilers. Markstrom has as well. I would actually give the nod to Skinner overall, not just because of the score, but just play in general.
I agree.
Markstrom has made some fantastic saves, though.
He definitely has. He's the one that's kept his team in. And again, you're going to want to go back to the play in the third period. I understand sometimes you play the puck and things happen, so I get it. But at the same time, when you've seen Markstrom being a little bit demonstrative in the second period, wanting a little bit better defense behind him, I think at times, as you said, Cooper, Calgary has provided that. But I also think when you look back at this game, win, lose, or draw, they know there's going to be some things that they're going to need to clean up.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is always fun, John. Even though the Flames are down right now, let's put on our thinking caps. Who do you think? If the Flames are able to tie this game, who do you think is going to be the goal scorer to get that third for the Flames?
I want to say, and I'll put on the not-so-easy one. I'm going to go Tyler Toffoli.
I like it. You know what? I think we're going to see Nazem Kadri step up and put another point on the board. But the Oilers have the puck right now, and stepping out in front, if not for a really active stick by Chris Tanev, they would have had another beautiful shot attempt. Now McDavid with a power move. He's in the faceoff circle, goes backhand. It's off a body. My gosh, McDavid can basically do it himself. He just knows where and when to be, and he stepped in and created his own opportunity. Now Mangiapane on the other side doing that for his team. He's going McDavid style, and he got a pass across that went just wide, and now a shot is on to Skinner, and Skinner, standing up tall, snags this one like a first baseman and freezes play. But we see Hyman going around Tanev, and Tanev able to block that with his glove, and then McDavid with a beautiful backhand shot opportunity. His backhand almost has as much heat on it as it does his forehand.
That's ridiculous with the puck control that we just saw in between the two players respectively. My goodness.
Yes, indeed. So 4:42 here in the third, and 39 shots for the Flames, 25 for Edmonton, but Edmonton leads 3-2. So the Flames do have possession currently. It's in the far corner to the left of Skinner. Fighting for the puck that's Cody Ceci for the Oilers. The puck is frozen momentarily. Also in the corner is Draisaitl. Tough to see who's there for the Flames. I think Backlund was in on that one. But now the Oilers come away with it. It's a 2-on-2 heading back toward Markstrom. That back pass is essentially to no one. And the Flames will take over and dump. So the puck is behind Skinner just to his left. It's now on the near half boards. Coming up the right wing is Kyler Yamamoto. He leaves for Leon Draisaitl. Draisaitl will backhand this one around to Evander Kane. Evander Kane carries and leaves it in the near corner. Rasmus Anderson picks up for Calgary. 3:45 to go in the third. Calgary skates away 3-on-2. Here can make that 3-on-3. I think it's still in Dubé. He goes to Coleman. Coleman on his offhand. There's a slapper from Stone, but that one doesn't make its way to the net. Pass attempt by Toffoli is intercepted and floated back out to center. Picked up by Elias Lindholm. 3 minutes, 30 seconds to go here in the third. Clock ticking louder than ever now, John, for the Flames. As they try to possess in the offensive zone, they will do so. There's a nice back pass and a shot on. Skinner fights it, but finds it. And that's Michael Stone with the shot on. 40th shot for the Flames. Just the 2 goals make it 41. Skinner with another great save through traffic.
Absolutely. And we'll see right now, Cooper, I always ask you this. When are you going to get close to pulling the goalie? It's getting that time with 3:19 left in the third.
Boy, I think the Flames have about one more full shift at 5-on-5 before they pull Markstrom to make it 6-on-5. Skinner, great graphic from Sportsnet right here. He stopped 70 of 72 shots against the Flames this year. Wow. So Kadri in the faceoff circle to the left of Skinner and is unable to win it. Again, it's been a tough night in the faceoff circle for Nazem Kadri. 3 minutes, 12 seconds to go here. Icing is waved off as that puck bounced all the way from end to end. It's held by Derek Ryan in the corner. He gets that one to Ryan McLeod. It's to the right of Markstrom. Michael Stone puts his man down on the ice. And the puck is picked up. Nice physicality from Michael Stone. They're able to get his team heading the other way as they flutter this one on just past the net. And it's loose to Skinner's right. The pass can't come out in front. Mangiapane was looking to find a teammate in the low slot. And this one is going to be cleared all the way down and just past Markstrom's net to the left post. Chris Tanev is there, and icing is the call. You think they're going to pull Markstrom here, John, and get 6 on the ice with the offensive face-off draw?
I think you're going to get close to, but my only criticism is if Nazem Kadri's on the draws, you're going to be able to win him. That's not something I thought I ever would have said.
That's true. Of course, we can't expect perfection, but I'll have to check the stats, but I think he's lost more than he's won tonight, and that has certainly affected the Flames. But Backlund will be the man to take the face-off here to the right of Stuart Skinner, and it's 1. So Backlund does a nice job there. Weegar walks and sends this one down low to Tanev. Tanev couldn't hold it, though, and now Weegar's at the right point. Weegar puts it on. The puck's bouncing off bodies, and the Flames are putting anything they can at net right now. Puck is loose. Weegar fights for it, finds it. It's held by Coleman. Coleman gets it down low, so the Flames doing a great job with some ozone time here. 2 minutes, 14 seconds to go in the third period. Flames trailing 3-2. Backhand shot attempt. Now coming back through with a backhand shot attempt is Blake Coleman. So backhand attempts go back to back. Not an easy thing to say for a broadcaster, but the Flames no longer have possession, and they were inside 2 minutes to go. Now walking forward for the Oilers and backhanding across is RNH, and that puck bounces off of someone in front. Could have been McDavid. Markstrom has to freeze it. Less than 2 minutes to go here in this Battle of Alberta.
You asked me earlier about whether or not I was surprised if Calgary was going to pull the goaltender. Maybe Daryl Sutter was thinking the same thing, but Backlund ended up winning the draw, and now it seems like Calgary's wasting too much time. They got a minute 49 left in their own end. They got to get going.
Yep, so a huge face-off coming here. It's going to be to Markstrom's right, I believe. And I love this replay. Michael Backlund having some words with his former teammate, Brett Kulak. The face-off is won by the Flames, but actually taken over by the Oilers. So not a great development here for the Flames, who need the extra attacker. The puck is sent toward Markstrom's net. It bounces off of the side of the cage. It's held there by Rasmus Anderson. But it can't be controlled by the Flames, and the Oilers hold it in. Now Markstrom's out of his net. Again, a Mike Smith-style play right there, and finally the Flames able to possess. We're going to see Markstrom come out of his net here, I believe. This one is knocked against the glass behind Skinner. Empty net now for Calgary. The puck is near half boards. It's in the near corner now. 1 minute, 8 seconds to go here in the third. An Oiler goes down. The Flames have it. It's on Nazem Kadri's stick. So 6 men on the ice for the Flames, and it's bouncing out front, but Mangiapane can't find it. Or maybe that was Dubé. Either way, empty net here. Problems for the Flames. One man back, and blocking the shot is Rasmus Anderson. Keeps his team alive. 45 seconds to go here. Great block shot by Raz. And the net remains empty. Flames in desperation mode. 40 seconds to go here. 3-2. 42 shots for Calgary, 25 for Edmonton. The Flames need to possess, and they can't. This shot goes just wide. No icing. Should have been the final goal of the game right there, but the Oilers' shot toward the empty net goes begging. 22 seconds to go now. Puck on Backlund's stick. Goes for the centering pass. It bounces off the boards behind Skinner. It's back to neutral ice. Truly desperation time now for the Flames. 13 seconds. Make it 10 seconds now for the Flames. It's being trapped near the penalty boxes, and it looks like time's going to run out, John. Just a few seconds to go. It's gloved down, and the Flames will lose this Battle of Alberta after a couple of crazy goals. Stuart Skinner with an incredible performance. And your final score tonight from the Scotiabank Saddledome, 3-2, Edmonton Oilers with the win.
I think that's what cannot be lost in all of this. We're going to give our flat-out 3 stars. I'll do that right now. First one's going to give to Stuart Skinner. Second one's going to give to Jacob Markstrom. The third one I would give to the fourth line of the Calgary Flames. That's the way I see it, at least, because, again, Stuart Skinner's he's made 72 of the last 74 saves ever since having to spell Jack Campbell from last week in the Battle of Alberta. And I don't want to harp on this too much here, Cooper, but I'll just say it plain as day. I know Mackenzie Weegar didn't get burned in the first period trying to skate through in his own end and some of the defense, but Calgary got burned with some silly mistakes during the third period, and that ultimately ended up costing them this game.
Yes, it certainly did. You know, and I'll go with my 3 stars here. Number 1, obviously Stuart Skinner. What an incredible job he did all night long. I think my 2nd star has got to go to Hyman. Zach Hyman was in the right place at the right time. Both of his goals tonight a bit fluky, but he put himself where he needed to be and created opportunities for his team. And I think the 3rd star tonight, it's a coin flip for me between either Milan Lucic or Brett Ritchie. But I think I'll give the nod to Ritchie for being in the right spot for the Flames when they needed a huge goal. He gave the Flames the lead at the time. McDavid ties it. Hyman breaks that tie, and that's your final 3-2. So I think I'm safe in saying that the Flames players, coaches, and their fan base have to be a little bit stunned, John. I don't think they took this game for granted and certainly didn't expect to just have an easy path to victory at 2-1. But I certainly don't think anybody expected it to end up 3-2 the way that it did.
No, and it's one of those situations where it feels like Calgary was in complete control of the 2 periods, and then it just slipped away just because, okay, I understand again, and I'm not throwing Markstrom underneath the bus because I gave him one of the stars there, but you go ahead and play a puck. It happens. Connor McDavid's got one of the fastest shots in the world. Okay, you tied. But at the same time, when you're trying to get it clear and all that stuff, you cannot throw for the Zach Hyman goal loose out in front of the blue paint when nobody else protected Markstrom. What is he supposed to do? Zach Hyman finishes it off. So, no, I wouldn't say they took it for granted, but I'm definitely going to think that they're going to lament some missed opportunities and look to clean that up when they play against the Seattle Kraken next.
Yeah, I agree, John. And as we were saying earlier, I believe during the second intermission, the Kraken, again, not with the most stellar record so far this year, but are an improved team and they're finding a bit more of a scoring touch. So it's not a gimme game for the Flames, and I think it's going to be a good bounce-back opportunity. As we mentioned multiple times, the Flames remain on home ice. I think that's probably what they need right now. And again, I just want to tip my cap to the Kraken, who finished off the win against the Penguins. The Penguins now fall to 4-3-1 after a couple of losses in a row, and the Kraken are now, I think the Penguins are 4-4-1. And the Kraken finish off that game 3-1, your final. So either way, you're right. the Flames have a lot of work to do. They're going to have to watch some tape and apparently give some more practice time to those players because there were some mistakes made that shouldn't have been made.
And look, we're not going to sound too crazy here in the sense that the Flames are 5-2. It's certainly a terrific start, but when you circle that down and then you circled the Buffalo Sabres game from about a week ago, and you're thinking, okay, things got to be better. You certainly can find some things in improvement in that videotape, in the tape room, in the practice, and figuring out what's going to work. So we agree on that stretch, and I certainly expect no harm done in the long stretch of things. And hey, that Province homestand that you wanted to get to 14 out of 20 points is certainly possible.
Absolutely. I mean, it would have been nice to be right, as we were joking about all evening long. Would have loved to see a couple more goals, one for each team, and then the OT winner for the Flames. But that'll always be a fantasy, and we will have to let that dissolve into the ether because the reality is the Flames let one slip away. It feels like. But how they bounce back is all that matters at this point. I'm sure that's what the players will be saying in their interviews as well post-game. Time to move on to the next one. Time to take down the Kraken. And then, John, it's going to be time for you and I to decide what comes up next for us. But I know we're not done here on the post-game show. We have some more coverage.
Okay, so I wanted to bring something up, and again, it's because I'm with Cooper Hopkins that it makes it a lot easier to talk about something that isn't specifically easy to talk about. So again, it's one of these situations where, as a journalist, and the same thing for you, Cooper, in the sense of we're doing things like this, sometimes we have to talk about stuff that isn't so great. So if you guys remember this from a couple of years ago, right, the unfortunate death of Matisse Kalevix, the Columbus goaltender, right, that happened with the firework incident. So Manny Legacy was in Novi, Michigan, and Manny Legacy is an important name to remember because he used to be goaltender there for the Red Wings, goaltender for St. Louis Blues, and things like that. So they were having a party, an unfortunate thing happened. I'm sure there were drinks and things like that, whatever. Firework goes off and unfortunately claims the life of the young netminder. And why do I bring all of this stuff up? I bring this up for this reason. I saw this Instagram post from Am Merzlikins, so Elvis Merzlikins' life on Instagram, and I know that the Columbus fans are upset in the way that they've played this year, and things have not been so good. But we understand when we're at a game right now, sometimes we say things about players, and you're free to say that, they're having a tough time or they suck and things like that. That happens. That's part of the game. But when you take things personal, it gets a little too difficult. And I don't want to sound like a parent here, but I just want to read her post and then maybe we have a quick discussion and we'll sign off here. So she goes on to say, and this is against her husband, Elvis Merzlikins, from some unruly fans. Okay, guys, that's enough. Yesterday night, I heard that your kid and your husband should die. You and your husband are trash. While at the same time, when he plays good, you say you guys are amazing. We love you. Can we get a picture? Touching my son and screaming his name. He's 1 year old and thinks all of them should not be coming to the game with me anymore because he's scared to see his dad being there. Good job. Today I'm reading that I'm blocking fans and that my husband has mental issues. Sorry that you need 5 minutes of fame, but I didn't block you. And if you think that hard about why my husband did so, I'm blocking you, you'll probably figure it out. Every action, there is a reaction. Remember that. I have one thing to say. Enough with the trashing, enough with the pointing fingers, enough with the hoping something bad happens or wishing someone death. Quick reminder, we had a tragedy happen last year, so think about it twice before you say something. Now, you are in it for the good or the bad, or you're out. But most of all, never touch our family or personal life again, because what you see is 1/4 of whatever is going on. Remember, we decide what you see. What happens on ice should stay on ice and not be a part of our personal life outside. My husband does not have mental issues. They keep trashing and unleashing a beast. And then she says, Happy Halloween to everyone. And that was her message. So I wanted to share that, Cooper. I know it's very difficult to talk about in a post-game thing, but we've been at games before. We know fans can get unruly, but please leave the personal attacks out of it.
Yeah, John, I'm actually really glad that you mentioned that. I think it needs to be, I think, more than ever, a more prominent part of conversations around North America.
Yeah.
I think, and particularly the United States. I mean, obviously we're covering hockey here, so we're talking about a an international sport, quite literally. And my point here is that we not only have instances like this that are taking place in the world of sports, we also have attacks that are happening at homes against prominent politicians and their family members in this country, which, regardless of where you stand on issues, how you vote, what John just expressed, what I'm trying to express right now, it's never worth it to take it to that degree, especially if you're a fan of a team. You're telling me you're a fan of a team and you're exhibiting that type of behavior? That, to me, if we're going to point fingers about instability, shows an instability to the individuals who believe it's okay to behave in that manner. I think that she was absolutely in the right to respond the way that she did. I applaud her for having the courage to do so. It'd be so easy to stay silent, handle things in a different way, which of course would be also a completely sensible course of action. She made the choice to speak up, and I absolutely applaud it. I hope this is the last time we have to talk about something like this year. I fear that it won't be. So, John, I actually thank you for being willing to open this line of dialogue, as we should all be willing to have it. I don't care how disappointed you are in your team. First of all, be a good fan just by acting like a fan. Don't fans love their teams? Don't fans appreciate the entertainment that their teams give them night in and night out? Now, we might be looking for a different outcome. Heck, I was looking for a different outcome tonight. But I think we would all be better off remembering that we're all human beings. These are players who, yes, they're playing a game, but they're also doing their jobs. This is how they provide for their family. I understand that the salaries they make, but they're at work. We're watching them work. And no one should be threatened about their job performance or in their workplace or have their families feel uncomfortable visiting them at work. Let's remember that we are fortunate enough to watch them play this game that we love, and let's act like we love it, not that we hate the players playing it for our entertainment.
Thank you, Cooper. That was very well said, and I really appreciate you letting me bring that up. I know sometimes it's hard to bring up these difficult subjects, but I was glad that we're able to share that moment and actually bring that up because it's very important and it's very well said. And at the end of the day, it is a game. We're all fans. We might not like everything that happens on, but it's our job to do better and be better. And that can also probably extend to a lot of things in life. So I appreciate that heartfelt discussion. And we will catch up next week with everybody. We're looking forward to the next broadcast.
Yes, indeed. Thanks to everyone who's listening. Once again, Cooper Hopkins here with John Ott. John, thank you for always opening the door for me, my friend. You know how much I love doing these games with you. I know you're going to have a busy schedule, so I will be tuning in as a fan, I'm sure. We mentioned it before. John's been covering the World Series, so don't miss that if you're listening into this broadcast. And we will be back soon, teaming up in no time, I'm sure, my friend.
Sounds good, Cooper. Good to talk to you again.
All right, pal. We'll do it again soon.
See you.